Right, welcome guys. We are back again with Shadow Empire. It's been a couple of weeks actually. It's I should have played in between this time because this is fairly interesting where we sort of are up to at this point in time. We are really having to play tall in this run, which is unusual for me anyway. I do like to try to have a few towns up and running by now, and if we press number 1 key, we've only got Dasburg is the only thing we have at this particular point in time. Now there is a second one of these. Is that one of, are these ours? So have a quick look and see. That's ours. That's ours. As in, we've just finished construction now of the second of the actual ice mines, just to try to get on top of the water situation. Water is dwindling away, so we need to get water fairly stringently. Food is maxed out. That's interesting. We may need to get more. I sort of wouldn't mind getting more storage. Like we've done a fairly good job in Dasburg, but we do need to sort of just get a bit more of this. And so 2 of those. There's a fair few oil mines, which means I can sort of pick them up into the future. If I just go through, I always press the WASD keys. This one here is actually unfortunately run by the private sector, so we actually only get a small portion of the metal coming from this, but I'm still going to keep that one where that is. I can always just go back and disband a level, which will then sort of get rid of it if I need to take it myself. But I'll let the private sector to grow at this stage. I think the best place for us to be able to expand into is going to be down here in the Arachnid territory, once we actually sort of take these on. And they're at war with us, so this is the Xenomar territory, which is the Arachnid swarm. Now these are swarms and hives. There's another one down in here as well, another Arachnid swarm down in this other side. These are going to be, the more we let them just sit there and do things, the harder they're going to be to control. And this particular swarm is has built up to a point where it's now becoming really, really dangerous. So I don't even think we can see any of them just yet. We've got like a masking group of infantry, which really don't do well against these. So if I just go back and press 1, you can see there's some of them are building up at the back through here, and they've already now gone to the 3rd level of the Arachnids, which is going to make life hard for us. So that's already sort of, they're ramping right up, ready for war. We've got the orange group down in here will be the ones taking them on. And if we have a quick, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to move that one. I'm just going to reload. I haven't done anything else, so I'll just go and keep on left-clicking, right-clicking on different things when I shouldn't be. So just going to go and quit the game. Yes, and we're going to load save game, Ep06. Because at the moment they're digging in, even though it's only on the in the rough rocks, they're still digging in. Hi Exy and Grim Harbinger, hope you guys are doing well. So in this particular mission, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be trying to take on these arachnids, I think. So with our stuff, water has become a super big issue. We've got heaps of oil at this point in time. We've got ourselves in Dasburg, if I just press number 1 again, in Dasburg itself there's a lot of different assets that we've got built in through here. So we've got pretty good bureaucratic officers. I would like to keep on ramping this up, but to do that I need to get more energy as well. So we've got the solar panels are now level 2, which is, they're still coming down actually. So we do need to go and get the next level of solar panels as well. So they're now going backwards. We've got heaps of recruits. So I can actually start to bring in lots and lots of forces when we need to. We've got some colonists. We're getting 100 per turn with colonists as well. When we do create another little town, we're going to be able to use these to actually build up that town fairly quickly, which will be nice. And we've got a heap of the rare metals as well. We haven't started building the machines yet, and that will be good for us as well to be able to then go and do that. So with the assets, what else do we have here? There's a whole lot of stuff that we've got. We've got Industry 2, we've got Ammo Factory, apartments have now been built as well, which should then make everything a bit happier. We've got social housing there as well, so these are sort of being built into the town. I don't know what this inspiring CEO, a morally explanatory friend of the leader, is managing a specific asset. He can rekindle the flame of Virtus with the workforce, so that's good. So we've got like a special person there looking after this particular housing. I don't know if it'll show up here with what actually does happen, but it sort of helps with the actual group. So that's actually all good. Solar panels actually under construction. Still 4 turns left on this solar panel. So we are actually making the next solar panel area. So that's already been ordered. So we're now going up to level 3, which will then give us a massive increase in energy, which will be nice. I can always build them out here as well, but it's like building up and building tall with this is a good idea, particularly in our capital, because we have to defend that no matter what. The metal mine, actually, this is sorry. Just go back to here again. That's all that's actually at this location. They do have the populace have a dome farm, schools, so they should have most things that they require. Yeah, so as we sort of come back through, police station, arena 2, which gives them like a lot of social stuff. This will then just increase the civilization of our zone. They do have light industry as well, which is also adding to our industry, which is nice. Waste, library, town customs, hospice, back in through here again as well, and scout station, casino. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Even a zoo has been sort of added in with the. What do we end up getting with that? I'll give us a slight 25 quality of life education. I'm not sure why it's not showing education with 25. That's weird. No logs available. Yeah, okay. Maybe it's only just come in. I may have only just built that. And then we've got our degraded LE mini reactor, which is giving us 100. This is how we started off with the energy. So that's sort of where we are. We've got a raid. Thanks, guys. This is from the Discount Engineer. Welcome. Hi, Discount Engineer, and hi to anybody else that's joined us as well with this raid. Welcome, guys. We are playing Shadow Empire, which is a extremely rewarding but extremely difficult game. But it's good fun. It's sort of one of these things. Once you get the basics in, it's actually things sort of then keep on moving forward. Outside of the town, we've got our metal mine back out through here. Metal is actually fairly good. We're actually being able to accrue a fair bit of that one. We've got Zote Salt here, which is a little town, which is actually also our oil mine. So we've got an oil rig there, which at this stage we're not really like we've got it now thumping along at 100%. We're still going backwards a little bit. We may need to get another oil mine or upgrade this oil mine. We then actually have this is where we're getting all of our food from. The food is maxed out. We've got it down to 25% production. I must have done that last turn because we've actually got too much food coming. Like we're producing a little bit too much food there. We're at level 3 there with this agrodome. This is rare metals back in through this other side, and so this is just going into this little location back over here. Again, we've got a good amount there. We can store unlimited amounts there. This is something we can use if we start to run out of money, and money is pretty tight, to be honest. So 425, I think we're going down by about 150 per turn. So every few turns we have to come across to the traders, go to sell, and then sell off. It's not worth it yet. At 2.82 credits, it's just not worth doing. Machines are worth 94 credits. We've got 12 of them. We need these for building. Everything else is pretty low. The food, we could sell off a little bit of the food there if we wanted to, just maybe for 50 credits or something. Let's just do that. I've got a funny feeling we'll be going backwards anyway with what we've got set up now with the dome farm. We sold that one just for 51 credits. That'll do. So that's fine. We'll cancel that one. And the 2 water mines, basically. So this one here is trying to keep up with our water supply. This one over here is just finished. So we'll start to sort of then end up getting the bits and pieces there. Industry-wise, we're doing very, very well with industry, which is actually unusual. Normally you don't. So we can either go back in, I think, and either construct something else in Dasburg. So let's have a quick look and see if there's anything worth doing here. Nothing with that. Mining. I don't want to keep on getting the recycling facilities. These actually give you like your base stuff, but we've already got that covered elsewhere now. Energy, again, the scav furnace. We can use the scavenging furnace because we're on top of a ruin. Industry 4, back in through here. Now, this is heavy industry, which is where we end up getting the sorts of things that we require. This is 4 rounds of 5 machines each. So we'd need 20, but we also need 4 of the high-tech parts, which we don't actually have at this stage. So we'd need to buy them in, and if that was the case, it would be too expensive. We'd chomp through all of our remaining metal, but it would then give us a regular supply. It also will drain 200 energy, which we don't have. So the energy would be a big problem there. We also have biofuel, but we don't need that on this world because we've actually got there's biomatter on the world, like there is life on this world, and so it actually has already got the biofuel. So if we were on a desert world with no actual life, we would need to be like making these things to put food into it. Now we thought we had hydroponics. If we go back to here. No, actually, hydroponics, I think, just kicks in on itself. Back in through here, High Command 2 is going to give me a little bit more bureaucratic points. This is only 4 rounds. I could certainly just do that now. It takes another 40 of that, but we are building the next thing anyway. This is our social housing. This one gives us social housing points, and this one gives us the worker apartment points. So we can sort of do this as well. It does chew up a bit of water and energy, which I don't really want to be using. This one here is interesting as well. We now have this one as well. You know, that one there is going to really chomp through the energy. But this will give me 800 bureaucratic points. Now, if you're sort of newish to Shadow Empire, you'll see just the word BP everywhere. It's sort of unusual that they don't actually spell out bureaucratic points because the game is all about getting bureaucratic points. That is the game. If you can max out your bureaucratic points, like get as many as you possibly can, and 800 is really, really worth getting. 40, not so much, but it's this energy cost here is going to cost me a fortune. It also requires a lot of workers, but again, we're building tall here. So this becomes super, super viable. And it's sort of worth doing, I think. So even if I have to then play catch up, I can always reduce the bureaucratic points that we get in. So this one is probably the one that we want to be getting. It only costs metal and industrial points, which I've got heaps of, which is rare in this game to actually have that much sitting there. I think we get this, and then we just try to get the energy under control with that. I'll explain a little bit about why bureaucratic points are just so important. This is how you get ahead in the game. Without having a really, really big bureaucratic point sort of income, all your what are they called? Councils struggle. Hi Space Pants, how you going? Is this another interesting game? You play some yes. This is for me the best war game out there. Like if you treat it as a war game, it's also incredible as a like a 4X type game, and it's also a role play game. So you've actually got like the best of everything. Plus the worlds are completely random, so you don't know what you're going to be playing on. So you only play on one world. It's like a Mad Max world that you're building up. But I think we get this straight away. Let's go and start this upgrade. It's going to take 4 rounds to build this. Now that's going to then really impact what we can do with our solar panels. So if we have a look at the solar panels at the moment, now we were building these, weren't we? Hang on, exit. Hang on, our solar panels 2. I thought we were building this. Did I not? I may have screwed up here. I need to get this solar panels 3. I thought we were building that. Hang on, just let me have a quick look. Yeah, under construction, solar panel 3. 4 turns left on that one through there. 4 turns left on that one through there. That should then marry up when they sort of come back together. But the energy, we may have to tweak this when it does come in. Now, is that going to be enough? Let's have a quick look and see. 185. No, it's not going to be quite enough. We're only getting an extra 100 there. 115. Now, the other thing on this particular world, and again, when we have a look at the actual worlds itself, you'll see that this one produces 120 energy. is what the base level is, like in the actual game itself. The new one will give me 235 energy. I may have to also then just go straight across and build the next level up as well. But in this case, with the 235, with the 120 energy that we're currently getting, if we have a look back at what we currently have, you'll see that the 125 is actually giving me 175. And you think, okay, well that doesn't make sense. Like this thing here is saying that you're only going to produce 120. When we have a look at it, we can then sort of see what every single asset generates logs. So there's information about everything in the game. So we paid all the upkeep costs. We did full upkeep, paid 6 worker points for production, paid only 97% of production costs. Now this may be because of the governor that we have in the city. Modifiers and tech formula gives a plus 28%. Governor modifies energy production by 18%, and so it produced 175 energy. But there should be, now is that enough? Is that enough to do it? Modifiers and tech formula 1. So this one here, it should actually be based on the solar irradiance. So pay attention to the energy output depends on solar irradiance as well as rainfall. So this is, we don't have any rainfall here. We're basically in a desert world, and it's all very, very flat. But what we do actually have is if we go across to down in here, I don't know if it'll show, so we've got 0 rain back in through this other side. It tells you then sort of what's happening. This is one of our problems, is water. Water is a big issue for us on this world. And there's a few lucky people who have actually been able to pick up water. Like there's water down here, for example, way over here. That little lake there is an incredibly valuable resource, which is miles away. Now that's actually something we can't quite get to. We're seeing an edge of a border there as well. So one of our, and we do actually have connection with one of the other majors who is expanding really, really rapidly. And so we're on good friendly terms with this major here. So we're friends with them at the moment, but they're actually a faction, this is Burgavia, who are militarist. So at the moment, they're very, very friendly, and we've been trying to keep them on side, but they could turn on us at any point in time. So again, we need to keep on building up our military as well. We're a tiny little nation in this game because we're hemmed in by these arachnids. So we've got sort of like 2 bug forces which are keeping us at bay. We also have over through here some ferals as well, which are mutants. So we've got some mutants that are coming out of this location back over here. We do actually have some. We do have a little bit of recon in here simply because we've got some spies operating in their territory, but not enough for us to give us all everything we actually need. What was I talking about? I was talking about what we have to do to try to build this one up. Anyway, that's the resources. I've completely forgotten what I was talking about now. So, hi Sierra Charlie, how you going? And Heart of Mithril. So anyway, with this particular one, we've got I don't need to go and get more oil yet, but I will, because the next thing I want to be building is, I will need to keep on trying to build up. Actually, I was going to talk about bureaucratic points, just to get that out of the way. So and also the solar irradiation. So it's not showing down through here, the solar irradiation of the different locations. Each little area through here will show the temperature, as you sort of come back through. So you can see it sort of 29, 25, 26. So each little location, the mountains should be a bit colder, 20 degrees back in through there, 24 degrees. When we hit these plains, we're looking at 24. At the moment, it's early summer, so it's just still early in the time. If we go across to our reports and go to help, we can then sort of see the planetary generation. And so we can see down through here, this planetary statistics overview tells us what's going on. So we've got exposure hazards on this world, nightmarish death on immediate exposure. So we have to wear spacesuits on this particular world. Respiratory hazards, insidious. So again, the actual the makeup is sulfur dioxide is 80% of the atmosphere. So it's a poisonous atmosphere. The Biohazards are extreme. So again, there's bugs. There's bacteria in the air as well, which is also extremely dangerous. I mean, there's sort of sulfur dioxide made, so they're going to be extremely virulent. Terran agriculture, atmospheric toxicity is extreme, so no Terran plants can live here. What often happens if you end up in a world that is actually suitable for Terran plants, over the course of the history when the planet is being generated, Terran plants will actually be brought to the world, and it will then start to grow. It reminds me very much this aspect of Warhammer, like the Warhammer worlds, 40k Warhammer worlds. If you sort of have really sort of read any of the lore about that, it's sort of like there's been like thousands of years of development on these worlds, and then there's been a total collapse. So it's sort of like I forget what it's called. There's what I read about Warhammer 20k, I guess, if you think of it in that sort of terms, before the Emperor really starts to expand back and take back the fallen worlds. And this is like a fallen world. So we've sort of played on these fallen worlds, but there's been time for it to develop up. So it's not Warhammer 40k, it's more like Warhammer 20k, would be the sort of way of thinking of it, I guess. Rain scarcity, there's trace rainfall. Oxygen, there's low nominal filters can concentrate the oxygen. So there is actually oxygen in here, 7%, so there's a little bit of oxygen. Plant development is, there are some forests, but hardly any. It's mainly just grasslands or desert. Geological activity, yes. And the heavy elements, I don't play on games unless they've got like over 100% heavy elements. This means your mining is viable. Hi, Beacon, how you going? There we go. So Aria Emil is saying Warhammer 23k, the Strife era. Yeah, thank you. That's sort of, if you know your Warhammer stuff, and obviously you do, Aria, because I don't have a clue about that aspect of it, but that era is sort of what we're playing here, where we've got these worlds that, you know, in this case, this world was chosen because of the heavy elements. It started off as a mining, and there's a whole history that's been generated. This is the next level down from Dwarf Fortress in terms of detail. In fact, I would even say it's like there's no space game that does what it does do. In fact, I might just quickly show what's been generated here. It's random in terms of within parameters from reality. So, and I'll show you this in just a minute. Gravity is 0.4 G, but the atmospheric density is 64%. It's 0.4 G, so it's a small world. So it's, we can sort of, so things are light, but the atmospheric density is 0.6 bars. So, and what you need is if the barometric pressure, so the bars, if the bars equates to more than the gravity, aeroplanes become viable. If they're not, aeroplanes aren't viable. It's just a bit of a rule of thumb. In this case, aeroplanes are something we can develop and actually try to make good use of. They're going to have good range on this sort of world. Atmosphere, this is actually what we have. One of the things we're looking for here is beyond just trace elements of methane, because we can take fuel out of the atmosphere, or if we get the right tech. Now, the farming method advised is dome farming. So you've got the methane synthesis. Because we have a smallish amount. If we did get methane extractors, if we ended up researching those and getting those built, we'd get 90% return. Deep core gas, we can get 227%. The solar panels, we get 128. Remember how 28 we had back on we looked at solar panels? That's because we have high irradiance on this world and dissolved metals in the soil, 292 parts per billion. So we can actually, even if we didn't have like great mining, we can still extract metals from the actual things through here. Aircraft engine is light propeller jet because of this variance through here. This is a summary of everything that was created. So what actually happened when this world was created, the planetology, it figures out, like it sort of randomizes what's happening through here. We've got like a yellow-white F5 star. We're a G2 star with our sun. So the Sol is a G2. And we're 1.5 AU units away from the sun, which means that we're sort of between, if this was in our in our solar system, we'd be just outside of our own orbit, like another 50% away from the from the sun, sort of, and moving out towards Mars. So that's essentially where we'd sort of be. One astronomical unit is is in relation to Earth. The tilt is 6 degrees, so it means the seasons aren't dramatic because it's not a dramatic tilt. The game will actually do that. It's got a spin of 13 hours, so a day cycle is only 13 hours in through here. When we have a look at it, this is actually then the gravity, 0.45, we said that before, the average temperature, because we're a fair way away, even though this burns hotter and brighter than the sun, it still is actually, we're still far enough away that the temperature is still warmer than where we are on Earth. Like the average temperature on Earth is 15, so this is hotter than Earth, but not much. So it's sort of, the temperature is not really a problem. The solar irradiance is 1740 and through here. 1500 is your baseline. That's the same as Earth. So 1500 watts per meter squared is essentially the solar irradiance. That's why we're getting 28% more energy from our solar panels. So if this is above 1500, we get a benefit. If it's below 1500, we get a negative. If we do have solar panels as our resource, in this case, solar panels are good for us. So that sort of works out well. Planetary age, 1.6 billion. This actually allows life to form on the planet, like at 1.6 billion. Depending on how hot the sun is, will depend on how much time there is for life to form. Map size is just the hexes, and then the heavy elements we saw through there. So that's the first thing. Then the geology, it then sort of figures out what sort of mountain ranges you have. There's no rainfall, high wind speed because of the atmosphere being so dense, more, in comparison to the gravity. So desert planet without surface water, basically. And then we actually have the seasons. So at the very top of the map, it doesn't go much beyond 5 degrees, like where there's hardly any solar coming in, and that will then affect the solar irradiance as well, I think. Actually, maybe it won't. I'm not sure. Anyway, the tropics back in through here again as well. We can see their hot temperatures, and then the southern points on the map are also just low down through there. Biosphere, this is actually now the atmosphere of what was actually in through there, and also the evolution. So a land-dwelling large 5-meter carnivore. So this is actually, there is a solar mollusk that is wandering around on the planet, resembles a mollusk analog. Its chemistry is hydrogen fluoride carbon-based, and it is oxygen breathing. So this is the aliens on the world. So there are some 5-meter tall carnivore mollusks. We haven't come across them yet. They're sort of out in the wilds, so we haven't come across them at all. You can see there the soil heavy metals, 292 parts per billion. The important environmental details, the water salinity, etc., doesn't matter because there's no real water on this world. There's no oceans. There's a history. Mining company showed interest in the year 6851, and then sort of down through, it just shows basically how colonization, and only 45 million people actually ended up coming to this particular world over time. At the end of sort of when the wars of when the apocalypse sort of starts, like when everything goes into a collapse, it was 90% services and 10% mining, which is actually high in mining. So it's still a high mining with 14 different zones. So not very many zones. These are still, the ruins of those zones are still prevalent. The apocalypse, it then sort of at around about the year 8000, there's different histories there about different things actually sort of causing problems. And so we're down to 1.2 million at this point in time, mainly scavengers, some hunters, 1% raiders, and 31% farmers. These are the survivors, essentially. And so when we come across the different groups, the human groups that are left over will be made up of these types of people. If you're playing with a fairly high farmer level, it means that you're going to be able to use pretty much you're going to be able to use diplomacy if you need to. If you're mainly sort of got like scavengers, and then particularly if raiders are high, the raiders will cause issues, and all you'll be doing is fighting on the world. So depending on the makeup of what's left, will sort of dictate how friendly or unfriendly it's going to be. Oh, there we go. Actually, a lightning gunner is saying Mars is 1.52, so it's about the same. Okay, there we go. I didn't realise that, actually. I thought Mars was closer to 2, so there we are. Thank you. Yeah, sort of. So I'm getting confused between the distance between the planets, because Venus is like, I forget what Venus is. I was thinking it's the same. Like in my head, I thought, okay, we've got 1 AU basically between us and Mars, but you're right. It's not that. It does extend out further and further. So anyway, let's continue on. Planet overview. We then just get a summary of what actually was generated. So these are all random when you sort of start the game, and you've got choice here as well as to what you end up doing. These are the evolution, so it actually goes through and actually figures out what the evolution will be on the planet, what the summary is of the main thing. So there are some herbivores. This is size. So we can actually see that solar mollusks, for example, there's two land carnivores that we have to contend with. And so we've got, this one is that 5 meter size is in millimeters. So this is a 5.5 meter sort of size of these solar mollusks. Is their offensive abilities, like how strong they are. O20 is low. So this is not that bad. D, this is probably the more important one. D is defense. So this has only got a defense of 4. And then we've got a competitive nature is only 26. So these don't really wander around all that much. So they tend to just stay, wherever we find these on the planet, they won't be rampant. You can end up with some things where they go crazy. You can even sort of see the land plants, for example. The competitive nature here is only 3, which means that they don't spread easily through the actual planet. So even though these grow, the biggest of them grows to 23 meters high, but the actual, like if the sea was high, it would have tried to take over more of the world than it has. And I can't even find the where these plants actually are. I think there's only one little area in the south. I think I did find that. So these are hardly anywhere. And the total biomass is 28,000 megatons. So that's sort of where we are with that one through there. So the local life is quite low. In this case, there are some herbivores there with 3.5 meters tall. Offensive 10, defense. These are going to be harder to kill. These D4s are going to be simple as anything when we come across them. C21 again. This is just the competitiveness is actually how much they roam around. Not very much. So and there's total specimens. There's 6 billion of those on the world. There's 289 million of these, and this one here, these Turnysort mollusks are only 0.6 meters high. They're not very aggressive, very, very easy to kill, but they do wander around a bit. And there's only 156 megaton. There's not even enough of them to warrant, so they're endangered basically. So these are what's been generated by the game as sort of like the local population. So they're not going to feature much in this particular run. The game is amazing like this, just in terms of just how varied the worlds can be. So it's all sort of, but it all comes down, starting from planetology. It then makes sense of it as it constructs the actual world for you to play on. So we're on this sort of, this is the world that we're on here. I always press WASD. I'll just make sure I don't do that one. So this is us here. I've turned off the actual units, so we're not seeing those. The mutants over through here are sort of starting to get a bit more aggressive, but this white border just means that it's in a state of flux. If they move into my territory, they'll push the border back. If we move into their territory, we'll push their border back. Where we have a border like this means we're at war with them. So the arachnids, this is now something where now it's a war of aggression between these arachnids, and this is what we have. This is our main threat at this point in time. And we have another group in through here, which is also getting aggressive. And so these are this is another arachnid swarm. These have now been improved in the game. Arachnids are an unusual. These were introduced into the, these actually came with the settlers as sort of like beasts of burden that then escaped. And so they've now escaped into the wild. So they're not native to the world. They were sort of introduced by humans and have then gone off and then sort of basically become like a feral swarm of spiders, which now go through 4 different stages. And this one I think is at level 3. I think this one's at level 2. So we're going to have to defeat these 2 lots of bugs to have any sort of peace, which is what we're going to be focusing on today. This guy here is friendly enough to sort of stay as friends, even though he's militarist. So a militarist regime, is a major regime, is going to be, they could become aggressive if we're not careful. So we've got to be careful we don't sort of cause any sort of threat to them. They're much, much larger than what we are. So we're just going to keep on building tall. Now, if I just press number 1 again, I'll just bring back my different units. Each unit is also then set up with different types of groups. If I go and have a look at this particular group, this is the 5th Machine Gun Infantry Battalion, which is all part of this particular group through here. So the orange group, this is the leader. He's got 500 troopers with him. And these have now been set up. If we have a look at them, these have been issued with combat armor. And so I've just upgraded all of the armor and the weaponry. They've got a Gauss rifle and combat armor, which makes them amongst the best now in the game. So we've got, these are now quite strong with the different abilities. We'll have a look at that when we sort of start to get into fights, but these have all been upgraded recently. So we've got so the troopers are going to be performing reasonably well that we actually have. If we have a look back at these different groups, these also then have whirlwinds. Now, whirlwinds are machine gunners. Machine gunners are good at defense. And so you can see there, this is our soft attack, soft defense. And so against infantry and guns, we actually have a defense there of 710 points, which is very, very high. So these are good at defense. The arachnids, I think, are considered to be almost like tanks. So we still have a reasonable defense there of 177 versus tanks. This is the hard attacking through here, just because they've got like a hard shell. I don't know if they, I think that they attack as tanks. I think we might have to have a look at that when we come up against them. Anyway, the machine guns are mainly defensive. So these are great for defense. So I'm ultimately going to be needing to get a few more of these sorts of groups. The troopers, you can see there 177, 710 against soft targets and 89, 177 there against hard targets. If I exit out of that one and have a look at the troopers that we actually have, you can see there were 119 with 238 defense, so they've hardly got any more defense. And then these ones here, 60/119. So my machine gunners are better, but they're more of a sort of support group. Like I've got 800 troops, 200 machine gunners for this particular force. They've also got like what's called a feat. In this case, we've actually got some military police attached to this particular unit, which will then just give them a... So military police embeds itself with troops to make sure that they don't disobey our commands. So 75% retreat to combat result is ignored. So the combat is, again, very, very detailed. Not that you don't need to look at the details itself, but there is a lot going on. Also, when we have a look at this one, we've got entrenchment here, which is down in through here of 100. So it's entrenched at 100. This guy here is entrenched at 100. When we have a look at this guy over here, he's entrenched at 250. So why is he better off? This is like a multiplier for combat. If something attacks this unit, he's going to be able to defend a lot more. So the actual combat ability is like double for this unit with him being dug in. That's why I restarted the game when I accidentally moved him off there. If I left click in through here, for example, I had accidentally moved him down into here, which is just plains sand. So this is just sandy plains. When we have a look at this one through here, you can see down through there in the top little spreadsheet, you've got troop type, infantry, and then you'll sort of see down across there for this for sandy plains. Is you've got which is the essentially the entrenchment when you automatically go there. So that's automatic entrenchment of 0. So when we first move there, we're on 0, and the maximum entrenchment we can get to is 50. So in the sand, we don't defend very well at all. In these rocky plains, we actually have it's a bit different. And so that's where we are. I've got rocky plains. I've got one guy out through here. In fact, I've got 2 guys out through there on the sand, but they're sort of on the peripheral area of it. this group in through, like these groups in through here, when we look at the rocky plains, these automatically entrench at 25. The maximum is 100, which is what we're at. If we have a look at this guy down here, and he is actually in high mountains. So the high mountains, he's got 125 automatic entrenchment when he goes into those, and then 250 maximum entrenchment. So he is sort of like going to be one end of the defence. And I've just got these spread out across here just to stop the arachnids from moving through. So that's sort of where we are. So we're trying to keep in the rocky plains and also in the hills for when we're trying to defend the different zones. We don't get points for the amount of space we have. What we do find, though, is there may be other resources that we need. In this case, we did find a second water pier, I think. We want them close to the city if we can, but as we start to take over their territory, we may find other instances there of things we can then go and get. Actually, I was going to quickly talk about, and I know I haven't even moved a single unit yet, it's 40 minutes in. I was going to talk about what's important about bureaucratic points. So, and because this is what the game is all about. When you go to overviews, you've got this empire dashboard. This sort of goes through the most important things for your civilization. And you'll see down through there, it doesn't say anywhere bureaucratic points, but it does say next turn's BPs. So we're going to be getting 477 BPs in through there. We are going to expecting a little bit of a rise. That little bit of the rise can be bonuses from all sorts of different things. So we produced 477. You received neither a small bureaucratic bonus nor a big bureaucratic penalty. So we've got a very small bonus to our points there. If I can get 800, we're going to be basically doubling our bureaucratic points. The reason this is so important is these are then split between the various, and we're not going to see it there, but these, when we go down to the empire budget, the budget is not about the money, the budget is about bureaucratic points. And it doesn't even show up through here, but these points are then allocated to the different councils. So we have, so the budget is like 17% is going to go to the Supreme Command Council. And these all then supply us with the cards that we generate to sort of play cards. It's like you can so you can sort of then develop using cards. It'll also do things like research. It'll do things like trying to find assets, which is what the Economic Council does. So the Supreme Command Council is getting 77 bureaucratic points. So if we can double that, they're going to get a lot more, which means we're going to then generate a lot more. So we're getting political power. So this one generates our political points, which is what we spend to make decisions. It also just gives me the general stratagems in the game. Like these are just cards. Sorry for these bloody ants, and I don't know where they're coming from. It's funny, I don't have any food down in this room at all, so I'm not sure why ants would target where we. So I guess it's the arachnids. These are here to help the arachnids. They're going to get in my water and cause problems. Anyway, we're just generating political power and general stratagems, general cards. The Economic Council, so these are the different councils we've been bringing in so far in the game. These have got discovery for research. So we've got like an investment there going into actual research, and we're actually trying to get hydroponics at the moment. So we're doing the actual. So we've got to find the research, and we're going to do the research. They're also doing prospecting. So they're investing a little bit of their budget into prospecting, and also the cards. They're generating some economic cards, like for example, actually I don't think they do taxation, but they give us other little things like we can actually invest into trying to do even more, looking around for resources. I haven't needed to do that on this world. The Staff Council is an important one in the sense that it helps us to manage our people. So we've got the Discover Orders of Battle back and through this other side. Sorry, this is actually different again. This is one that we've only just brought in. I was thinking of the Interior Council back down in here. These ones do taxation, tariffs, human resources, and interior policies. So we're mainly sort of focusing now on human resources and interior policies with them. Foreign affairs is also now in as well. These are giving us diplomacy aspects. I need to do this to allow us to try to stay friendly with that militarist group. That was important, just so we can focus on the bugs. We can't use diplomacy on the bugs. We have to kill them off. The Model Design Council allows us to build up better equipment. So that's what the model there is there. Military research, discovery and research. This is very, very important. This is why we ended up getting the combat armor. We didn't have that at the start. And then the staff council, this is newish. And so it allows us to then start to create better formations and custom formations for the actual army. So there's a lot in this game. Like there's a hell of a lot that does go on. We also have things like urgent issues and that where we can sort of have a look and see. Like one SHQ has units. So the first SHQ has units with bad supply. One unit in the somewhere is actually struggling with supply. You have 226 credits negative cash flow. Actually, that's more than what I thought. So that's actually a problem. So we're going back at well, we've only got 2 turns worth of time at this point in time. Leader relations, one of the leaders has got a low relation there. So this will just go through the what's actually happening through here. Now the Dasberg has low worker happiness and high unrest and high danger. So this is the zone. That will slowly fix itself as long as we're looking after the workers, which we are at this stage. So I think that will go away. Logistic issues. The Supreme Headquarters has problems sending replacements to units. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, this is worth looking at every so often, actually. It sort of doesn't pop up. I might start looking at that a bit more regularly. To find units that are actually struggling with supply, there's a little light here. I've asked Vic, the developer, to change this green to a more like less yellow in the green, so it actually you can tell that it is actually a green. I'm a bit colourblind. I really struggle to see that between that green and yellow, and it would be nice if that was actually very definitely green. But these, to me, all look like they are green. The next one down is if there's yellow, it means that there's a bit of a struggle with getting some supply to the actual units. If I just go back across, there should be one unit that was actually struggling with supply. That one there looks like it's yellow, so that one there looks like it's actually got some problems. And you can see down through here, what I've also done on the maps is I've got the show the operational logistics. If I turn that one off, I don't get any sort of colour through the terrain. If I turn it on, I get the green. I can see the green there. I can see there's a yellow band here, which means that this one is going to get limited supply. And all I need to do there is just build a road up and start to sort of improve that one, but I don't need to, even though it's actually got limited supply there. This is the one unit that we can see that is actually not getting full supply. I can go and have a look at that in detail, but I won't worry about that just yet. But that one's fine. These are all in green as well, so everything is actually looking fairly well. Just leave them all where they are. And the next thing we wanted to have a look at was looking at tanks. So let's have a look and see if it's viable yet for us to sort of build the tank force. If we go in and if I start just on a road system, actually one thing I do like to do is actually having a look at the current points. And what we did was I've set up roadblocks for our logistics to push the logistics back out this way. So we've actually got logistics coming down towards the front that we're going to then be tacking on. And we've got like 2,600 logistics in there, which means that if I need to build anything, that's a really good spot to build. So if I go to that location, which has got the high logistics, I can then go in and actually go back into raising a formation. That will just let me know sort of like what I can build. And so we've got different things, for example, like we've got an independent force back in through here, like battalion level, regiment level. It will then sort of make it with a lot more people in it, and then the division level. Another thing I wish in the game, by default, it would start on battalions. You don't want, for a large portion of the game, you don't want anything more than battalions. And in fact, you can then upgrade battalions into regiments and then divisions if you really need to. But in our case, we just don't need to. So the game should always start off with battalion. I don't know why it starts off at regiment. It's sort of another one of these things. I wish that Vic would actually change that as a default. So, hi, Bad Boy Zed. How you going? So anyway, with this one through here, we can either go with just a small independent group, So we can just get like a smallish group in here of whatever it might be, anti-tank battalions, artillery battalions, flak battalions, infantry battalions back in through there, the basic infantry. Just getting 1,000 infantry, independent light tank battalions back in through there again. This is probably what we're going to end up building. So we've got the light tanks in through this other side. I'll talk about why this is important. It goes through what the resources are that are required to build this one. And so we can sort of see through here, we've got like 500, we need 500 recruits, 460 industry points, 305 metals, and two political points as well, just to sort of go and generate one of these. Hi Chris, how you going? Saying, hope you're well. Question, I own both of these games, Shadow Empire and Dominion 6. However, I have bounced off them. Which is the easier to learn in your opinion? Ooh, that's a hard one. I would say Dominions, but only if you only focus on one faction in Dominions. Don't focus on, don't just go random or anything like that. Focus on one faction. And that one faction, probably the easiest faction to learn in Dominions, is Ulm. Middle Age Ulm will give you a start. Middle Age Ulm is not great at the end of the game, but it's really, really good at the start. So it's actually, the reason that Middle Age Ulm is the better one for Dominions is because it doesn't rely much on magic, it relies more on armor. So you end up with sort of like traditional, it's like think of it as traditional dwarves. So they're sort of anti-magic, and but they're pro-military. So in that case, So if you of the two, Dominions is like, it's funny to say Dominions is the easier game because Dominions is not an easy game, but it's a great game. Of course, I was saying Middle Age Ulm can be good. That's a good one to choose. There's a few of the other ones, a few of the other factions in Dominions that also are not bad at all. Like anything that's got like where it focuses on knights or on like heavy military, good starts because it makes sense. Just avoid anything that uses blood magic. Okay, so that's the blood magic is hard. Face Peeler is saying I would also say Dom 6 is easier to learn. Yeah, it is because it's easy. I think it's easier to learn just because there's less things to do. In this game, there's just so much to do. We haven't even had our turn yet. We're still trying to make decisions. Once we get going in this game becomes more simple in terms of the combat, I guess, to a degree. But it's just there's so much going on in this game. So, but this is again a great game, like one of my favourite games. They both are. Dominions and this are two of my favourite games. They're complex, but in great ways. The complexity is not there to get in your way; it's to enhance the actual gameplay, which in both games they do. All right, so this is actually where we've got infantry, machine gunners, light tanks, which is probably where we need to go. Independent mechanised anti-tank battalions back into here again as well. The mechanised anti-tanks and stuff like that is something that's going to cost me a fortune. So I don't want this. This is not going to be all that viable to me. The mech infantry groups as well. You can see there the actual cost to bring in a group. We do get some of these recruits back. Like we got a heap of recruits, so I can actually I could afford to do that one, but it's going to chew through my industry a bit too much. And the only benefit we get from this is we end up with a little bit more protection because they're going in APCs, so they'll actually have APCs with them to actually then to take the troops in. So it does give them more survivability. It may eventually be good in terms of having this go in with the like with tank forces, like that would sort of work in well. But at the moment, all we really have is just infantry and machine gunners. So when we have it across the next page, again, independent mechanised machine gun battalions, anti-tank battalions, motorised artillery, motorised flak, and these all cost a fair amount. Motorised infantry battalion back in through there again, just infantry, again, reasonably expensive. Actually, what's the difference there? That's independent motorised. Oh, motorised is different. Mechanised is APCs, motorised is trucks. So these won't have the protection, they just have the speed to move around. So these are cheaper. But we do get money back, we do get sort of recruits back from these. Then we have an independent motorised machine gun battalion, and then we actually have a really important little unit here, which is also fairly cheap. These are buggy units. So and these are so that we've got. Look, if we focus on the buggies, if we have a look at what we have through here, and on the first page over through here, the light tanks. These are going to be the key to the arachnids. The arachnid problem. Our bug eradicators are going to be these two units in through here, and I'll explain why. So we'll do a deep dive into what we're doing there. If we take it away from just an independent single type of unit and make it with an operational HQ. So an OHQ is a so operational HQ. These provide leadership to the units of its formation. You could assign a commander to all your OHQ. You should assign a commander to all your OHQs. We've only got 2 in the current game we're playing. But to bring these in, we end up with this is just a small group at the moment with it independent. As soon as we click on OHQ, we have a lot less we can choose from. We need our staff council to find the orders of battle to bring these through. So I can bring in a brigade, brigade of light infantry, which again you can see costs a fair bit more. We end up with a lot more of these, and so we've got. At the moment, we've got 1 infantry brigade on the map, and we have 1 machine gun brigade on the map. Now, we're going to need to bring probably another one of these in at some point, and you'll probably want to go the machine gunners. You can see there's no real cost difference much there, just a little bit in the metal, just to get because of the machine gun parts. So if I bring in a brigade here, I'm going to get 4,500 infantry and 1,000 machine gunners. But you can see we've got motorised light infantry brigade back in through there again as well, where it actually is going to be bringing in, look at the numbers here. Look, the numbers now are massive. That's all of our industrial points, basically gone in one swoop just to get a motorised group. So this is actually where everyone in it is actually fully motorised. Then the siege infantry brigade in through here, where we end up with the infantry and artillery. So these are the only orders of battle that we actually have at the start. We need our staff council to discover more of them. So I might talk a little bit about that as well. But for us, you see there's no tank battalions, there's nothing like that. So if I went back to my staff, my reports, and then went down to the cabinet overview, and so these are the various councillors. And so we've got our staff council, which is William Cryopath, is actually the staff council back in through here. And if we have a look at the organisations in through here, the staff council here, so he is trying to discover different orders of battle every single turn, and so he's only fairly new into what we're trying to do here. So this particular person is actually trying to discover orders of battle, which will then, and one of the ones we want to be trying to get is the light tank battalion. So if we can get a light tank battalion, I can then bring in 5 groups of tanks, which would be very, very expensive, but it's going to be viable to do that. Then we can operationalise an order of battle in through here. Occupation and governance back in through here as well. Postures. So these are sort of different things we can then do with different sorts of cards. Custom formation types as well. We can ultimately end up spending points to try to build our own order of battle where we combine different units. So it's really, really cool the way that one sort of works as well. So, hi Tenry, how are you going? Anyway, that's 6 customization points saved up right now. We need a lot to be able to build something like in through there. If I call him as an example, in fact, I'll just go and do that. So I can give him actually, I can't do the order of battle development or the customize anything at this stage, but that's actually what he can then go and do. So he will ultimately be what we need to find the various orders of battle. If we go into the orders of battle, and this is actually just shows you the different formations. Hardly ever look at that tab. The other one that's important is just the management tab in through here. And so the tech that we're trying to discover is we're sort of focusing on trying to pick up specific things that are going to help us. Like we now have side skirts, so this will actually help with our tanks. Actually, one thing I don't know is, have we put them on our tanks? Let's go to the actual models. And we look at the light armour. So Crusader tanks back in through here, 40mm howitzer guns. Let's have a quick look and see what they're doing. Yep, so this is a light tank. Its main armament is 40mm howitzer gun. This is good against infantry. The howitzers, the high velocity guns are good against armour. It has been issued. Now, actually, I did remake this. Or am I still doing it? I may be in the process of building this. Let's just go back again to the map. and the reports. If I'm still researching this one here, then that will be under the Model Design Council. Yeah, we've got a new light tank model, which is at 62% of the way through its development. So I don't want to build this one until we actually have this one done. So at the moment, we have one type of light tank. The other thing is, when I come back through, once this one has been developed, I could then go and start to build up another armoured car, and that may be viable. If we go back to our management screen, we have a thing called blueprints, which actually then shows me the different designs that I've done. So I've done an APC design back into here. I've got a light tank design. We are bringing in the high velocity guns, and I really should have kept that as a howitzer gun, a 40mm howitzer. We have increased the steel plating on this one, and we've got a heavy diesel engine. So this one is going to be thumping along fairly strongly. We can get better tech eventually to do more in through there. So that's the light tank. We also then have the recon buggy. Now with the recon buggy, and we have a look at this one, if I go into new blueprint, I can then sort of see what this one has got. So what type of machine gun should be issued? At the moment, it's just got a simple machine gun, and so this one actually only does 100 firepower with 6 ammo. If I make it into a Gauss machine gun, it's going to do 500 firepower, but using up 16 ammo. High-speed machine gun is going to do 300 with 16 ammo, so I might as well go for Gauss, and the advanced machine gun is going to do 200. At the moment, actually I think at the moment, the one that we have, let's have a look and see before we go back in and design this one. I'll keep that one there. We won't delete this one. We'll come back to this in just a minute. If we go back to our model for the where is it? I'll just go all. And the recon buggy, the crossbilly. So this is using an advanced machine gun. So it's been issued with minimal 5mm steel plating and has a medium diesel engine. So that's actually what it currently has. If we go back and have a look and see what that means in terms of the blueprint, that it's an advanced machine gun, minimal steel plating, and it was a medium diesel engine. That's what we currently have. So its firepower is 200. What we need to do is these are recon. These have to move a fairly big distance. The more I increase the actual power source, the more fuel they're going to take up. And so fuel is not a major issue for us. So if I went for a heavy diesel, we'll sort of see that the movement modifier is negative 20% action point cost at this stage, which is positive, and the weight is positive. If I go to the heavy, we end up with a little bit extra movement, but the actual fuel use is going to be a bit higher. So we use, it's not telling us there what the fuel actually will end up being. But if I actually end up with a Gauss machine gun, I go from 200 firepower to 500 firepower. That hasn't increased the weight at all. If I just keep it on medium for a second, if I go to the Gauss machine gun, which is something that I've just researched recently, I don't have much in through there, but we do then need to take more, like the ammo we go through a bit faster. Seekers redeemed a reward. Okay, I don't know if I've got anyone that's viable yet. I'll have a look and see in just a minute. Of course, it's saying this William, it looks like a lot like my neighbour, considering that he's trying to discover order of battle. There we go. So it's saying a good evening. Hi back. And Gra31 is saying look on text tab to find whether it's using skirts. It will have the skirts. I know I've got the side skirts. Actually, we did look at that just before. Sorry, you may have mentioned that before we had a look at the. I still got more bloody ants in my water. They're really focusing on the water, like this world. Anyway, I do want to up the armor a little bit. It's not critical, but if I go and do that one through there, we still end up. The action point cost is we still get a little bit of a bonus with our action point, even at 25mm. If I go to the heavy, I get a little bit extra, and if I go to 50mm, I still get a little bit there. If I go back to 50mm on medium, it's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, the upkeep cost is 0.3 and 1 food. Yeah, movement cost per hex is 2.7 oil. If I go to the lights, it's 2.3. Go to the heavy, it's 3.2. It's not a hell of a lot difference, is it? If I go back to minimal, see how the minimal armor, as the weight comes down, the actual oil per hex is coming down as well. So if that at the moment we're using 1.9 oil. If I go and make it 25, we go to 2.3 oil per hex. And this is actually one of the things you do have to sort of keep into account. I think 25mm medium diesel engine Gauss machine gun makes this into a very, very viable unit. Just to talk a little bit about what the thickness of the armour means. If you have 5mm steel plating, this is good against normal bullets, like from just normal troops. So if you're going up against very, very low level troops, that's fine. 25mm will take it to the next level in terms of it will actually, it won't stop tanks, but it will stop nearly everything that's got from the infantry, unless they've got like RPGs or anything like that. So in that case, 25mm is going to be very, very good for most things we have to go up against. 50mm will then start to be a bit more viable even against tanks. But I'll keep it at 25. I'm just going to keep that one where that is. I can rename these, but I'll just keep it Recon Buggy Design number 1. And so when we're ready to build this one, we can then go and do that one. I can always upgrade these, but then I think when you upgrade infantry and sort of do something with the actual infantry, they will then it will then sort of kick in with the where they end up just replacing their armour because it's still the same people inside. Whereas when you've got equipment like buggies and things, they have to go back to the Supreme Headquarters and then be completely changed. Scrap the old ones, bring the new ones in. Same with tanks. Anyway, let's not bring those in just yet. Let's wait till we got the tanks. Let's go back to the map. Now, just see if there's any viable leaders at the moment. So, sorry, just go back to management. Go back to leaders. And so SIC has redeemed a leader. Now, I'm trying to get the... now, we've got the director of the Military Research Council. We've got Sev there, Boland. Archer is only a tier 2, but he's probably going to be around for a while. Supreme Command Council, she's only a tier 1, so she'll be gone as soon as I can get rid of her. You're already there, SIC. You're already here. You're the director of the Model Design Council, so I'll redeem those points back to you. You don't need to be there. You're already in there. Anyway, we'll keep on sort of thumping through with this stuff. So what we'll end up doing is we'll just wait until we've got the new tanks, and then we'll actually bring them in. Just go back to the map. There's really nothing much else for us to do this turn, so we'll just go and end our turn here, finally. What are we... an hour in, an hour and 6 minutes. There we go. So we'll see what happens, see if the arachnids move around. This is really where we're going to be expecting there to be danger. No, I don't like this. They're moving across. This is our friends, but why are they moving up to the border? They shouldn't be. Here comes the arachnids. The arachnids are now trying to break through. So we suffered no losses, no had any kills. Start the turn. So Boland, the director of the Foreign Affairs Council, says he bought a crony CEO for 500 credits. That's okay. And our leader count is 16 leaders, and that's higher or equal to the 15 leaders we promised to our subjects. That's good. So we actually must have bought these in the last session. I love this as well. Hey, this is actually a bit of contention. What we actually do have is we do actually have the there's AI generated graphics in the game. I think it enhances it, and it's sort of funny me saying that because I really don't like AI taking over human jobs. And this is probably if you look at the reviews, the only real negatives to this game is that it actually does use AI generated graphics, but the graphics will still actually have like our symbol on them. There's been thought put into what's going on here, and also the type of group that you actually are. Like we're a meritocracy, and so the different graphics will actually reflect quite well that aspect. But it is actually it is something that people don't like. You can just turn it off. In this case, because the game is developed by a single developer, I don't really have a big problem for it. If this was like a AAA game, and look, it plays so bloody well. It's unbelievable that just one person has made this game. If it was a AAA game, I probably would be unforgiving for the fact that they're using AI, but the fact it's a single developer, it does enhance the actual overall feel of the game. So for me, I certainly give it a pass. It doesn't. I prefer to play it with it turned on than off, but you can turn it off if you are, if it's something that you feel strongly about. So I'll just mention that about the AI generated artwork. But it's for me, it enhances it. We're a meritocracy, and this reflects the meritocracy. If we were this wouldn't be the graphic that would be shown if we were an autocracy or if we were a democracy. There would be different graphics that would then sort of show for these, which is, again, for me, it gives a lot of immersion. Discovered a new tech, mines. Troops entrenching should be handed some minimal material to place booby traps and better prepare for enemy attacks. This is good. This is a good one for us. So we've actually now discovered, we haven't researched it yet, but we've discovered the mines for defensive troops, which will be important for us. Then we've got new development of the model complete, the Crusader 2. So we now actually have our new tank just in time. So we've just got this new tank that's been developed to take on the arachnids. So this is going to be as a saving grace for the arachnids. We generated 4 new stratagems. That's okay. Scientific exchange, all for the front. That's all right as well. And so, so now we've got only two decisions to make. Again, we have a bit of a look. The food is coming backwards. Water's going back up again. Oil is going down a little bit. The ammo is coming up automatically. We're building things, so that's why that's going down. Energy is going down a little bit, so we'll just wait until we actually get that energy built. Back over here, I'll just go and make sure that we're still in move mode. I don't know why these are building up. If we have a look and see at Burgavia, they're still friendly. They're still friendly. So, yeah, we just need to keep them on side. I don't know why they've moved into here. I'm trying to keep hold of this little area. This asset, when we were trying to secure the borders, there was actually another faction that was up in here, and so they've gobbled up, and we were gobbling up the what was actually there. The asset that's here is actually giving me 100 colonists per turn, which helps me just for when I do go and create another city. So I wanted to make sure that I had that secure with what we have. Chris is saying, have you got an advanced copy of what? Sorry, have you got an advanced copy? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Chris, sorry. Oh, hang on. So you're talking about Galciv 4, Federations and Empires. Yes, I do, and I will be playing that within the week. So, but I haven't looked at it yet. But I will be doing a fair bit of that in the coming days. So yes, I will be playing some Galciv. I wanted to play a little bit. Maybe on this second channel, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll probably end up putting some. I'll probably start off doing an intro on my other channel, and then come back and do a bit more gameplay on this live channel, the current one. If you're watching this on YouTube, and then go back and do another live stream back on my other channel, and then come back and do more live streams back on this one again. I really enjoy Galciv, so yes, I do have that one. Sorry, I didn't see your first message there. Will there be more Distant Worlds 2 content, or are you waiting for the new DLC? The DLC now is so far away that I was thinking of starting a new run, because I love playing it. I absolutely love playing it. I was hoping that, like, if there's any development at all, I think I don't need much excuse to play Distant Worlds 2. So I have been looking at that, but I was hoping that the pirates would be introduced a bit earlier than what they are. I don't mind that it's being pushed back, but yeah, so there is, I think I will actually do that one. So Curry Boglin's saying, nice, love Shadow Empire and love the series so far. Yeah, no, this has been a fun little, the fact that we've had to build tall because of the threats around us. We've got there's nothing viable around us. Like, we just have to focus on Dasburg. Normally I'd be focusing on a second city, like Salzburg and through here has actually been developed by the enemy. Well, not the enemy, but they've actually got like an air base there. But this is growing. This one started off as just a few collections of buildings. It's now building up into a little force. We can see there. How many people has it got? We don't know. I'll just go back to movement again. So down in through here, we now actually have the arachnids are now trying to push through this area. They've got a small group coming back in. If we have a look at the arachnids, these are just standard old, easy to kill spiders. So we've got this little group that has come back through. I need to block that off. So I'm going to move this one into the sand, into here. So this one here has got some whirlwinds. You'll see down through there, there's two different types of whirlwinds. There's still whirlwind 2s, which means they've still got the combat armor and the gauze machine guns and stuff. But they one of them will actually have better, will ultimately be a better unit. So this one is, it should be the experience, even though it's sort of showing the experience to be the same. There shouldn't be much difference between them. Yeah, looking at the same, the stats are the same in through there. But they should be, one of them will be just a slightly better quality of unit. Or it may be that the attachment of the military police. But anyway, I'm just going to move that one across. Now, if I go and attack this one, I do actually have recon there of 77. This is sort of viable to attack, but I don't really want to be attacking with these guys. The arachnids, if we have a look and see what they've got, you can see down through there, insectoid beasts with a very hard carapace and an extremely high level of aggression. And so these don't do well against armor. They don't defend well as well. But these are the grunts of the arachnids. There was actually a question about this. Instead of saying, so I arrived right in time to see the first turn. Where was that one? There was a question about it. Sorry, and I did miss it. No, I can't see it. Yeah, join the mobile infantry. This is Starship Troopers. We're basically playing Starship Troopers. But these low level arachnids are nothing. Arachnids now go through 4 different stages, and they introduce bigger and better bugs as they develop. And so in this case, this is level 1. These are easy to beat, but I still want to use armor to do this. So I'm going to be bringing in the tanks. So let's go and I want to attach them to the military force that we have. So I'm going to go and do that now. So these are not that difficult. You can see they still defend fairly well. So against this particular group, and there's only 500 of them that we think. We're not seeing all of the stuff that's actually in through here at this point in time. So this is just like their basic, the arachnid militia. That will then put pressure on. It can still try to break out into here, but I don't think it can get very far. So now if I go and I would like to put a tank on one of these. Like I don't think it can get this far into here, but it could get to there. So I think I'm going to, and we can see then we've got I've put the logistics on, so we've got 1,300 logistics to that point there. Sorry, I do have to go and redeem Cause Lord's Dasdemption. So Cause Lord doesn't have a unit here. Now we've got Rainbow Craterrock. Do you want, this one's only the Director of the Economic Council. Probably won't get involved much in the fighting. So Cause Lord for a future good leader. Well, she's our best. She is our best. Yeah, I'll go with the. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Okay, let's give you that one. It probably won't go into the fighting though. So capacity is what you'll really look at initially when you're trying to evaluate. This is the role play aspect of the game. But she's incredibly intelligent, and so she's actually in charge of the economics for our group. So I'll just go back in. Now if we change her name here, this will be Cause Lord. I always put the E in. So Cause Lord Craterrock. So this one won't really get involved. The only way that this one would actually take damage would be if bugs got into the Dasburg. If they reach Dasburg, then a lot of these guys will then be killed. In fact, everyone will be at the end of the game for us. We have different groups like Begans out in charge of the 2nd Light Infantry Brigade. The machine gunners actually have got someone that hasn't been named. This is level 2, and I'll probably end up keeping her involved with this particular group. I could have given you that one, but anyway, that's this one is not named, and she'll be the one taking the main brunt of the attack from these arachnids. So that's the other group that we actually have. We'll just go back across into here. So at this location, can we raise a tank formation to go and help with this? So when we go to the raise formation here, I'm going to go to independent, so back into independent, back and through here. If I had the order of battle for a tank group, I would actually go and build that, but I now need to start to patch things up. And at that location where the hex is, you can see down through there, I can build 100% of one of the independent light tank battalions. So I might as well go and do that one. Actually, before I do that one, just notice the 2,800 there, 1394, 1394, 1394 to that point through there. So we've sort of got, that's the logistics moving across. Raise formation, independent light tank battalion back and through this other side. We've got everything we need to go and get that one. We are going backwards now because of our building, but we'll just keep on doing this one. So independent light tank battalion. We're going to go with the Crusader 2s. So we'll just go and build them up with Crusader 2s, which is our new tank. I'm going to have to make this one obsolete. Actually, I might even just go back and show that as well. Actually, no, I'll show you in just a second. Just going back into here. We've got everything we need. We've got the troops. We've got the industry points. We've got the ammo to fill it up. The political points we've got. We've got the metal. We've got the food to actually give them the food, and we've got the oil. So all of the stuff we require to build this thing at 100% is ready to go. So we'll just raise this formation. The logistics as well. We're going to be using 410 of the 1394 that was there. So I raised the formation, and now we'll see that this is now dropped with this little tank group coming back into here. Now what I want is I need them to be fighting under Laura. So I want Laura's abilities to help this particular unit. So she's in charge of this machine gun group. So the machine gun group, when they go into battle, gets benefit from her. This group has come in at 50% readiness, so it takes a little bit of time to spool up before it's fully fighting fit, and this is another multiplier for combat. I need to make the call now to actually bring this one into this particular group. So I'm going to go and go back into the, which one is it? This one here, is it? No, it must be this one here. Unit admin. If I go to unit admin here with that unit selected, I'm going to now just go and change the HQ. At the moment, it's running from it's being directed from the Supreme HQ back in Dasburg, but I want this to go to the second machine gun. The first machine gun infantry brigade. So it's going to go with the orange force. So I'm going to now move that one across, set the HQ there. And now you'll see it's gone from yellow to blue, that line there. That means its readiness has dropped even further down to 35. So it's now only 35% as powerful as what it was, but over time that will come back up and then sort of be ready. Now I can attach 2 units to this group. You can see there's like a little orange band now underneath this particular group. And so those little tanks are now ready to go. And you can see the side skirts on them. The old one, if we go, look, before I bring in the next, I'm going to bring in a second group of tanks straight away. I won't bring in the armoured cars until I've actually got the next armoured car designed with the Gauze guns. Otherwise, I have to keep on bringing them back into town to get them sort of queued up to go into the next group. If we go back into the management for the actual force itself, we'll then sort of see for the, where is it? Is it the models? Yeah, for the models, if I go into the light armour, I've got 2 of them. And you can see down through here the actual difference. See how the gun is slightly longer? This reflects the change in the gun. The combat abilities in this one is higher with what we actually end up having. We completely redesigned this particular one, but also this one doesn't have side skirts. This gives it a bit more protection. So we've got a better weapon here. The cost is a little bit more. The firepower is a little bit more, and through here again as well. Everything else is sort of going fairly well with what we actually ended up having through here. If I just go back in and have a look at the design of this. This one, and all we did was we built on top of the existing one. So it's really just an improvement on the old one. So we don't go back in, I'll just go back into here. At the moment, it's really just open, but I can make the first one obsolete, which means that I don't actually have any in the game. If I go and click on the second one, we should see, if I just go to all, This is, if we go to the first SHQ, you'll see down through there when I select anything, I've got nothing showing up in through here, but I've now got 50 of these tanks now operating, these little light tanks operating now under the 1st Machine Gun Infantry Brigade. So that's where they are. I've made this one obsolete. Now when we go back in, because we're going to build another one of these, now I've got 900 odd in through this other side. I'm going to put another one here, I think, or here. If I move to there, I can then, I'm sure this one can't break out to here. So I'm just going to place another tank there. These will also help defend if this arachnid does make its way through. So let's go in here and go and raise another formation, independent battalion of light tanks. So I could actually make it a regiment, but I don't have quite enough to go and build one of those. We end up with 180 light tanks. If I'm over 50%, I can still start to build it. This would make it fairly powerful, but what I really want is just groups to be able to surround the arachnids. So we'll go with another group of these, and then we'll bring in some armoured cars, and we probably won't attach them to anything. So now we don't see Crusader 1 because we made it obsolete. So we've already got we've got one group of them. This is our second group. We'll just raise this formation as well. So we now have 2 groups. With that one selected, I'm just going to go across to Unit Admin, change HQ to the 1st Machine Gun Infantry Brigade. So they're now both attached to the orange group, and they just need to now spool up, and sort of everything needs to sort of come back in. These, if we go and click on this little tab through here, supply, everything should be fully supplied. So they're sort of ready to roll. They're going to start to chomp through, and you can see that we're now going backwards with a lot of what we've been building. So we will actually we now have to start to monitor what's going on through here as well. Food is going backwards slightly. What I might do is just go back into my food assets and just change it from 25 to 50. Water is going up a lot. What's our maximum? 3,400. So we are now sort of thumping along with the water. I might just reduce the water mining as well. I'll do it at this location, and I'll just make it, they say 50% production, just because we're doing so much. Or even 25% there. I will sell off extras, and we're down to 178. So I will have a look to see if what's worth trading. So we're back in the sales in through here. Fuel, rare metals is coming up slightly. Water is worth a lot. Now that we've got the extra water, maybe we'll sort of just go and just get like a little bit at a time, 200 credits worth. Let's just go and sell it. When we sell it, they like at the moment there is like they'll take as much water as they can possibly get. So it may be worth producing more. The traders have a credit amount. They also need to on-sell it to other groups, and so it looks like everyone sort of is struggling for water because of the cost of it. Food is pretty cheap. Metal is always viable. It looks like everyone's pretty good with metal. Everyone's pretty good with fuel. And rare metals will slowly come up if we don't sell them. They will buy all 400 of them, but we'll just go in and sell those off.
Yes, sir.
So we've got another 200. That just gives me one more turn worth of money, and that's then going to reduce the cost of unfortunately what we'd get back from water next turn. If I go back in again, I might make it 50% production. All right, so these arachnids are starting to sort of push their way in. I'm not going to attack them just yet. Everything else is fine where we are, so we don't need to do anything else. We've got 2 decisions. The model design, okay, so this is model design council task priorities. So in this case, I can change what we're doing now. What I want to do is I want to actually do the current, whatever we're currently designing, I want that to have most of what we do, and discovery is going to go back down to 10%. When I'm not building a model, it all goes into discovery. So I find this relationship better than just 50-50, which is the default. I'm just going to confirm that, so no changes. And then we also have set the model design council overview. So now what we need to do is we need to go back and look at our recon buggy. So we're going to now build up the new recon buggy. Let's just go and have a quick look at this before we do it. So we just go back into the recon buggy into here, And we'll just evaluate, and I'm pretty sure this one is actually viable. I think this is a very good design, base design anyway. So we have a choice to either design on top of what we currently have or build a new one. And so with the light armor, the reason I chose to do this one was to actually go and I can hide the obsolete ones, but in this case, the actual structural design was over 100. Like 100 is average, and so if it's way under 100, I would actually redesign from scratch. The base design was also pretty good. The base design, as this is used in combat, this is like field testing. So the field testing will then sort of start to come back up. So that will then work. The average for that one is 85. So this one was above average anyway. So the tank I was happy with. If I go back to my buggy, in this case, this is incredibly good. At 117, the most you can get is 130. So this one's already very, very good. Slightly under in base design, but the field testing will bring that one up. And the others are okay-ish. The weapon design is low, but we'll still just keep that one where that is. The armor is high, which gives it a bit more protection. So these are sort of multiplier type things with the actual, like, so you're not just building a unit, you're actually building a unit within these different sorts of design parameters as well. So, which gives them very, very specific things. So we're going to go back into the map and we're going to go and build a new model of the recon buggy. Now we've already gone back in and done a blueprint for it. So this is what we're going to go with: the Gauss machine gun, 25mm steel plating, and medium diesel engine. For the 5mm, we end up with like it being able to move further, which is actually a good thing for these. But in this case, I need it to also be able to fight against the bugs. So I am going to go with only a very, very small action point. It's not going to do anything actually, to be honest. But I'll still just keep it there. And the fuel cost will go up a little bit with this one. So I'm just going to go in and keep that buggy design there, go back to the map, and then I'm just going to, I don't have to do it this way, but it's an easier way to see things using the blueprints rather than just doing it on the fly, particularly for aircraft. Aircraft is one of those things where you do want to see all the parameters as you change the design parameters. If you do it through the actual, the dialogue when it comes up, rather than using the blueprints, you have to do it bit by bit and choose each bit and then make your evaluation at the end and then potentially redo it. By doing it this way, you get to see everything. All right, so we'll just go back to the map. We'll go back into the start development in through here. And so we can either go with a brand new design, which is going to cost me 240. Again, it says BP, it's bureaucratic points. Everything is bureaucratic points. Or we can just build upon the cross buggy for 60. So certainly it's going to be much, much easier and faster for me to build on the cross billy. So are we building the blueprints are available for this model type? Do we use a blueprint? Yes. We're going to go with that one through there, and we're going to select this one here. So we're going to be, that's our blueprint. If we go no, it will then take us through a dialogue to build this like we'd end up with the same one. Let's just go there. So he's now going to be trying to design that one up for us, and I'm going to be wanting to have a bunch of those, maybe 3, maybe 4 of these buggies to help surround the arachnids. We also need to get recon up before we start doing attacks. 77 is not fantastic. So I need to get this one up well and truly over 100. The recon with the light tanks are sort of almost like hybrids with the armored cars type thing. So in that case, they're pretty good, like in terms of their own recon abilities. So if we have a look at the first independent tanks, we should see. If I go back into there, no, we're not going to see it there. But the recon is 4. Most infantry is only 1. So we end up with a fairly good recon. The armoured cars have got a recon, I think, of 5. So they're almost armoured cars. They're just a little bit stronger. All right, let's end our turn here and see what these bugs get up to. They may go back because there's really nothing viable for them to move into. And we need a few turns for these to come up to speed. They're moving back around. They may be seeing us as a threat. So we just need to keep our money. Yep, they've moved out. They're actually, it looks like they're at war. The arachnids will take on anything. Like they'll actually sort of become aggressive. Okay, your profile meritocracy is for 55, and that's lower than we promised 61. I hate this. This is the one thing I hate in the game, is when you don't have any options to match something that was asked of you. And it's the one aspect of the game that really I find really annoying and frustrating. I just wish it wasn't there. So anyway, that's they're a bit disappointed. So this is going to impact our trust level with the population. We've already now done the cross-billy too, so I can now start to bring them in as well. All right, your organisation's faction generated 2 new stratagems. Now our fuel is still actually okay. Once we start to thump along, these are going to take a bit of a hit. Yep, we need to move more units back into. I've sort of got like a few units there. I'll just dismiss that message. I'll bring these artillery down. The artillery moves so slowly, I hardly ever use it for anything. So these tanks are now back at orange, so their readiness is starting to kick up, and those bugs did actually move away from the front. So the tanks themselves, when we have a look at their abilities, have got... you can see down through there, against soft targets, these are pretty useless, these Crusader tanks, to be honest. They're good against hard because we put the high velocity gun on. But they've got a lot of hit points. Anyway, let's see how we go. I should have gone with the other guns on those. I've got 2 decisions. One of them will be the Model Design Council again. Now, if I don't do anything, we'll go back into trying to discover more models. So if we have a look at the actual at the types, so we can discover a medium tank. We can discover mechanized artillery, motorbike infantry, bazookas. These are all things that are available, and medium aircraft. They're the stuff that we can, if we're not building something, we can end up trying to find these. So I think what I'll do is I'll go back. I mean, do I make a Crusader tank with the good against infantry? Not sure. Maybe not. And the reason I'm thinking maybe not is because the recon buggies can do that job. Yep. So Sev is saying, don't you got the motorised artillery independent units available? You could update the artilleries to motorised. Yeah, I could make them you're right, actually. I could actually change that and make a... No, hang on. That's a staff council thing, I think. Actually, can I? Let's have a look and see. If we go to blueprints, I've just got the... I've got the artillery. And if I go into new blueprint for artillery... Yeah, I don't actually have... All I've got is combat armor, so they're still just going to be lugged around. So I'll delete that one. So yeah, no, that's different again. Check the order of battle units. Yeah, we don't actually have mechanized or motorized for those. They just have to use the strategic areas, so that's not going to help us. They're more sort of static defense more than anything at this stage. So we do actually have artillery, but we don't have... If I go into yeah, this is all I can build. So I don't actually have mechanized artillery or motorized artillery. So I can't do anything with that. So that staff council needs to do that one. It won't show in the design, says Sev. You're being persistent, so obviously there's something I'm not understanding with what you're saying. But I don't think I can change those. I don't think I'd bother. Actually, maybe I should do it if I can, but I don't think I can. I think it's staff council has to do that one. I'll have a look. The fact you're persisting is making me think, okay, there must be something I'm missing here. Types. So you've got the artillery. When you are building units, it shows the Indy units available. Indy doesn't help me. That's in, like, do you mean the I'm not sure what you mean, sorry, Sev. I'm really not understanding. For the models, I don't have the ability to do anything with this. I'm sure that has to come from the Staff Council. And the fact that the militia are using mechanised artillery doesn't help me at all. I can't make use of that. There should be motorised artillery available from the start. Depending on depends on the difficulty level that you play on, I think. So in this case, we don't have it. It's the same like with the order of battles. We don't have the. If you play on a different difficulty level, you end up getting tanks like tank groups as well, which we don't have. So no, we're further back. We're further back than you think. So we can't actually do anything there. So we need to discover that. That has to be done through the Staff Council. If we go back into the map, reports, organisation. So Staff Council needs to discover the orders of battle, and that's we haven't got that yet. So it's still trying to find different things. When it discovers them, that will then appear, but we haven't got anything yet to do anything with that one. So yep. Do you mean your recruit? Yeah. So normally, like depending on the difficulty that you're playing on, and even the parameters of the of like how much tech you've got, etc., you'll end up with different things you can actually then go and build. In this case, we start off less in this particular start than typically, and so we end up with like a so we don't actually have the mechanised artillery or the motorised artillery. We don't have the tank formations, which some starts will start off where you can actually build a force of 5 tank groups as a mechanised group. We don't have that. I think the game may have been rebalanced as well to remove those from the start, just to give you a slower start. Because you used to be able to do all that stuff, but not anymore. All right, let's continue on with our decisions. So in this case, Model Design Council, I'm going to just go no new orders, and this will then put all of this development, unless I go, no, I don't, I'm going to be happy with the recon buggies. The fact that we've got such high power Gauss machine guns on these will actually give me what I need that I would have had to have gotten with the light tanks. So I'm pretty happy with what we're going to end up with. I'm just going to go no new orders there. Natural Born Killer in the 3rd Machine Gun Infantry Battalion. So we'll just, these are things where we can actually go through, we can either go with enforcement or autocracy. I think I'm going to go enforcement. So I'll just go that way there. I'm not too worried about what the benefit is that it gives to the individual unit. But these are now sort of starting to get ready to be able to move into the front. Again, until I can really attack properly with maybe sort of like three-ish different groups, our money is still not fantastic, so we need to go back into trade. This is getting better, a little bit better. Food, water is still actually viable. Let's sell off a little bit more water, another 200 credits. Just so we can keep ahead of the money. We don't want to run out of money. And so they're now part of this particular group. What I want to do is now have armoured cars being able to sort of move into and help out. You can see we've got hardly any recon down in through here. Let's go and bring an armoured car group down here. We've got 1,400 supply coming in, or logistics coming into that location. So we'll just go into raise formation. Independent battalion of, in this case, it'll be page 2, buggies. So independent recon battalion. Actually, before I do that one, I will just cancel, go back into my management. And because we don't have any, I'll just go through, always make sure you don't have anything before you make them obsolete. Otherwise, they will just disappear. So if we go back into the buggies, and you can see down through here, if I just make sure I've got them selected with all, so we're seeing everything. If I go and click on that one through there, so that one's now selected, there's nothing showing up for either one of these. You can see the firepower here is a heap more than what it was before, and then the soft attack is heaps more than what it was. The hard attack is also more than what it was. So we've got, this is a very, very good little unit that's going to help a lot with what we have to then go and do is the Crossbilly 2. But the Crossbilly 1, I'm going to make that obsolete. So just go back to quality, obsolete. That way it won't show up with what we're doing. All right, back we go to the map. Sev is saying on the second page of units. So what are you talking about now? Sorry. Update non-motorized to motorized. They can update non-motorized. Hang on. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. If I go back to models, page 2 of what? Of bringing them in? Hang on. Where is it? So if I go in, raise formation, page 2, okay, so motorized artillery, yeah, it's actually pretty cheap, isn't it? All right, I will do that actually. So, okay, so that technically we should be able to do it. Sev wants you to go to raise formation tab to see it right. Okay, so that makes sense. So if I go back into here, if I go to unit admin and upgrade the actual group. So I'll just go through. I didn't realize we had it there. So the independent groups are there. So we do have motorized, which means we can bring tanks in. So we can bring trucks into this group of artillery, and and I might even raise another force in here as well. But if we go into and actually go, instead of raising the formation, if I go to the existing loaders and go to unit admin, I can then go and do an upgrade for the actual unit, and I can change it from essentially I can make it into an independent motorized artillery battalion. So it gives me motorized transport. There we go. Now I get you. Now that didn't do it. Why is that? Upgrade. Upgrade. I have to do it step by step. Oh, hang on. Have I screwed up? Downgrade. Something's happening here. Why is that? If I go back to unit admin, upgrade. If I click on that one, what's going on here? Yeah, so I need to make the trucks for it. But is that still the one that we want? If we just go back in and have a look at the unit admin, it's just the other one actually ended up being it going up. If I go back to upgrade, yeah, that's okay. Okay, yeah, no, I think we were there. So I need to go back into the replacement troops, and we'll then end up having a thing where it's saying we need trucks. Yeah, we need 50 motorized transports. So we're going to need a few of these. These are they're just called the green bus. So we'll just go and get. I can only get 30 of them actually. Why is that? What are we running low on? $33. I'll just get 10 of them. It'll take 340 there. Actually, before I do that, the armoured cars are by far the more important thing. So I'm going to go back down into here, do this one first, raise new formation, and I will actually go back for the buggies. Independent Recon Battalion. And so these are going to cost me a lot of the resources that we end up having. The industry points are the ones that I'm a bit concerned about. So these are crossbilly 2s, so we'll raise this formation. I'll get another one as well. I'll get a second one down through here. I can put them over the top of each other, but I'll just keep them sort of separate a little bit for now. And I'll bring another one back over this side as well. So raise formation. Buggies. All right, so they're now being raised, and I'll bring another group back up over here. Raise formation. Now I can only do 80% of these, so we've actually run out of the industrial points. So I'll get 4 of the 5 that we're actually going to come into this group. So I'll raise that formation, and we're now pretty much out of this. What I can do just to help with this one is just, I probably don't want to chomp through this industrial points too much, to be honest. I think I'll keep the trucks out until we've actually got these. Actually, we only got 3 in this one, so we've got 30 cross billies there. Next turn, we'll end up getting a little bit of those resources back. These actually, the first turn you make them, costs a lot, and then the next turn you do get stuff back, but you don't get industrial points back. So you end up getting your people back a little bit. Let's move these things up. So we'll just go back to movement, and I'll take them now into the front line. These are still spooling up in terms of what we're doing. And so that's actually now sort of moving down. There's more arachnids down this way. We'll just get them ready. These are not defensive. These are offensive. These are a bit defensive. So we'll bring these cross billies in as well fairly soon. I keep on pressing WASD, and I've got to stop doing that. This one uses the arrow keys. Now, the other thing we have is the Supreme HQ. We don't really have a lot of troops back at Dasburg, and Dasburg, the unrest is rising. It is diminishing slowly, but we need to get more troops in. I need a group to come back in here. I think I'm going to move this group back in as well, just to have some militia back in town. Just to sort of just to support the town. All right, that'll do us. Let's end our turn here. Sorry, Sev, I do understand now. Your one is 10 trucks. I'll just wait until we've got the industrial points. I need to be keeping on building those buildings as well to get on top of the economy. I don't like that there are so many forces around here. Comes the arachnids. Whoa, here they go. Here they go. And now the bloody, these mutants are now moving in as well. This is a problem. So, we've got round 48. The mutants aren't really a big issue. We've brought political CEOs for 1,000 credits. So, this is like private sector stuff. Now, we've got hydroponics. This is going to help us with our food. So, that's going to allow us to sort of do other things. Discovered. Now we've got the mechanised artillery has now been discovered. So this is actually going to allow us to have armoured artillery, which is not important. So I won't worry about that one. And here we go. This is actually the one that we were looking for. Discovered a new order of battle, the light armour army. So we can now bring in groups of tanks if we wanted to. I won't worry about that yet, but the fact that we've now got that is a good thing. Recruit Merc, yeah, that's okay. Got 3 decisions. So Merchant Society demands you hire the candidate. Yep, we'll do that. That's not a problem. And so this is a Cap 3, which is nice, actually. 62-year-old female. Very pro-meritocracy, which is good. Very good technical skills. Model design. Wow, she is great. And inventor skills. Damn, she's really good. She's really good. So she was awesome to have as a new addition. Now, the Economic Council research objectives. We now have different things we can do in here. If we don't do anything, we go back to putting all of the points back into more new research. Is that viable? Let's go back to our management screen. We were trying to get hydroponics just so we can actually upgrade our food, because food is a bit of an issue for us, particularly as we start to get bigger. It's funny how each world has got its own aspects which are going to cause issues. So you can't just say always do this or always do that. It really is the vagaries of the actual planet itself which actually dictate what economic strategies you need to sort of then go and do, which is fantastic. Like, that makes it so good. Go back to text. So we've now got hydroponics. When it's white, it means we've actually now done the research on it. When it's yellow, it means that we can still do the research. So we've got water soil recomposition back into here. Discovered water soil. So this one here, this tech allows you to gain water from the lithosphere. It's a difficult process, but it's always possible. So we've got that one done. We've got the power plant, which we don't really need. The university is good. That would be a good one for us. We've got heavy industry. We can start to try to discover some of these. Anything that's got EC means it's an economic council. So geotechnics, so produce IP and metal for expensive road rail construction hexes like mountains. You need, so this one here reduces the IP and metal cost for building through mountains. That's interesting. I didn't even know that was there. Power banks, water purification, volcanic tapping, and deep core mining. This is all good stuff, actually. So I might just go back to discovery. I don't think there's VidCom broadcasting would be nice to have, but not critical. And then we've just got, so we can actually go and do this, or I can just wait till we get some of these. The power banks will give me, we'll be able to then store energy a bit better as well. Water purification. This one is really only if we've got seas and lakes. Volcanics, we need volcanoes nearby to do that one. Deep core mining. Gain fuel from the lithosphere. Yeah, this is not something that we need either. So I think what I'll do is I'll just keep on going back in. It does then open up some of these other things, which would be nice if I get 3 of them in here. Or geotechnics. That's a good one. But there's not a hell of a lot going on. I might just go water soil recomposition and get more water that way if we need to. Actually, we've got 2 ice mines, so we don't really need it. VidCom broadcasting potentially, or the university. University would be good. So I'll just go with those. These are social things that we can then sort of go and pick up. So just go back to the map. And university, I'll start there. That's a nice cheap one. Model Design Council, back in through this other side. So we now have the mechanised artillery, but I'm going to go no new orders. What that's now done is it's now discovered, if we go back to the types, it's made a discovery back down through here. Some of these need other techs as well. So we need rocketry to get a rocket launcher. Jetpacks, what do they require? Jetpacks, they require we need to find the tech for that one. I think I'll just keep on going and see if we can actually sort of identify a few of the others, like the medium tank would be a nice one to get. Just go back to the map and just go no new orders there. All right, and that's done. Okay, so these now we've still got the industrial points. We've hardly got anything there. This little group of cars is not going to be able to do a lot with what we're doing, but for this group of mutants, they're actually now causing issues. So I'm going to move across. These have now come back in as well. Let's test our new tanks out. The tanks look like they've actually now come up to close to 100% readiness. So we have a look at the second independent. We're at 80% basically. Now if I go and attack, I can attack from 2 sides. I might just talk a little bit about how combat works. What we need to do here is this particular group, if we have a look at this arachnid group, actually if we do the one back, before we had 77, we're now at 122, which is actually a good amount. So we're actually now seeing we need to have 42 to be able to see the basic details. We need 400 recon in here to be able to see everything. So we don't know exactly where all the arachnids are in this particular location. Each hex is 300 kilometers across, so the scale is quite big. So we're attacking into a hex that they're actually sort of been isolated in. They don't have any escape, so when we kill off this group, they're going to be completely destroyed. And we might start to sort of move down. We don't have good recon back out through here. We're under the 40 to be able to see if there's any units there. What happened down in here? The group that was... Now, there's another group in through here. This is actually Zeminar territory. Arachnid swarm, Zeminar territory. No, it's still saying it's Zeminar territory, but there's a border there. So something else is happening down that way. I might start to move forward, even though we've got the cars here, but these have to sort of get their levels up. Here we go. This is actually a major regime is also fighting the arachnids. In that case, I'll push down, and we'll start to. It looks like the arachnids are locked in here, so they're in a fight also with another major faction back down through this other side. This is we don't know what they are. This is the Europathor Imperium. We'll bring the armoured cars in now. So we're now, the armoured cars, if we have a look and see what they've got, have got recon of 7. So they're double the tanks basically. So in this case, the crossbillies are coming in and they're pushing our recon abilities out. There is a group in through there, which is now moving up to attack these guys. Let's just keep it coming. So we're seeing just a normal group of arachnids in through there as well. Now these are also only at 65, but we do actually have with these crossbilly 2s, we do have very, very good against soft attacks, 600, but there will also be hard attacks, and we're pretty good against that as well. Not as good as the tanks, but they're okay. The attack abilities we have against soft targets, though, is better than the tanks. So the combination of these and the tanks will actually be helpful. These guys we're not at war with yet. I just want to keep on pushing them back out away from our territory. Let's go and deal with this particular group. Now this should be fairly easy for our tanks. If we have a look at our tanks have got good hit points. This is important for survivability. And so if you've got strong hit points, it means that the enemy has to do a lot more damage to get a kill. But our actual attacks are only 83 and 41 for soft targets, but very good against hard targets. Now, there will be some hard targets in the groups that we're going to be going up against. So if I go and right click on this one you can see I've got pretty good maneuverability with these light tanks, but if I go and right click on this one through here, the odds are still pretty good for what we actually are going to get. And so then we have all these different factors which play into what this attack is going to be. So the attacking force is just one group of tanks. The odds are 4.5 to 1, which and against these sorts of guys is probably not going to be really a big problem. If I just go back and cancel that for a second, go and click on these arachnids and have another quick look. They don't defend well against against tanks. They really don't do well. They do well against infantry. If I was using infantry, the odds would go much back up towards in favour of the arachnids. Their hit points are still up there. They're still pretty strong. This is actually a factor of things like combat armour and stuff like that as well. So they're pretty good there, but they're just not good against tanks. So I can use the hard attacks to sort of get through their armour. Now I've got this group of tanks as well. I'm thinking that I've actually what I'm liking with this one is that I can actually go a long way down with these tanks and actually start to move forward. So if I kill this group off with this group of tanks first, I won't need to. This one can also then move down into this zone, but having this one central, I can then sort of make it help with the armoured cars as well. So I'll just go back there. It's going to be 4.5 again because it's the same attack going into this particular location. They haven't had a chance yet to dig in. So if we have a look and see, in fact their readiness is only 38 from what we can tell with our recon. What would be ideal would be to get even more recon on this location. So what I can do is I can actually have a look to see, do these actually have, what do we know about them? Not a hell of a lot. I don't think they've got any sort of real anti-air abilities. And we have an air force back over here. So I've got 3 little grasshopper units. So I'm going to send them in on an air attack. So I'm just going to go into air attack. This will also then give us higher recon. So we'll start with this. So we'll just go, oops, hang on. I need to right click. And so I'm just going to do a single air attack. It's the only group that we actually have. So we'll do this one to start with. There's no real ability coming back from the arachnid. So this is just going to be strafing from the air. So when we go, will we kill any? Yeah, we did. We killed 1. But the recon is going up as well, meaning there's not going to be very many surprises. So we ended up, we shot 1 of them. We shot 2 and killed 1. So there was 2 hits there from this particular group. And so these will be even more, we'll now know even more information. That one there has got a readiness of 96. That one there is readiness of 48. 96, and then that one was killed, essentially. So we killed off 1 of them. So the readiness was not what we thought it was. It's actually higher than what we thought. So the SHQ sort of helped with that particular fight. Anyway, that was good. That was a good result. But the big thing is we now got much better recon on the actual location. And it looks like there was only four arachnids there anyway at the start. So we'll just go back and click on OK. So in this case, the arachnids now have now at recon of 202. And you can see that the recon has now come up. We thought it was 38. It's not. It's 62 is the average that's left there. 2 of them are nearly at 100, and 1 of them is a bit lower. Let's now send the tanks in this time. So we'll just go back into movement and hit this one. See how the odds have come down because we now have more information. So what may be better, I always try to attack with 8-1 odds, but in this case, I mean, we sort of have, like these tanks, if I throw another tank group in, I'm going to get the 8-1 odds. If I don't, it would be interesting to see what actually happens here. I might just do it even though it's not a fantastic attack, simply because we have the hit points. Let's just see what actually happens. We'll do a bit of a deep dive with this one. You can also use units like with very poor odds to try to get your recon up. What the recon means is that we don't have unpleasant surprises when we do go in. Let's just try this attack, even though it's like not. Ideally, I'd go in with both. Really, I should go in with both tanks. I will take in both tank groups, do 8-1. That way, we're pretty much assured of getting the kill. Now that we certainly have the recon points. Yeah, well, you lost one already. See. So we only killed one. This is the arachnids are not easy. So, and they had nowhere else to go. So basically they've sort of rolled over and then we've just gone in and wiped them out. But we did end up with, you saw that one of them got killed right at the very, very start of the attack. And this is actually the most dangerous part of the attack. Usually armor, like that's probably a very surprising result. If we go back into the actual, what's the battle report? That just gives me an overview of what actually happened in the battle. I can sort of go through and see what actually happened. But we did lose one of the tanks. These are the modifiers, you know, with everything going on. Just go back out and just go back into the detail. What happens in the combat is it does it round by round, and we had to stay in that fight for the whole time. And this is the trouble with fighting arachnids. They're not easy. They're not just going to give up. I'm just going to grab myself a drink of water, be right back. So in the end, it took all 10 rounds that we had available to our tanks to actually get this thing done. So the way it sort of works is usually the first 1 or 2 rounds is closing the gap, and that's the time when the attacker is most vulnerable, and then it needs to make a breakthrough. So there was only 3 arachnids in this area. So as it sort of came back through, we have round 1. We ended up with we had the arachnids in through here as well, and we can sort of see what is going on with what the arachnids are doing round by round as well. So there's only 3 arachnids back in through this other side where we can sort of see what they end up doing. This one here is attacks, so the arachnid attacks one of the crusaders and is counterattacked by a crusader. So essentially there won't be a kill there as such. So what actually happens with each attack is there's modifiers. So the attack score, so the attack from the arachnid as we're coming in is attacks 28 versus defense of 428. So for it to break through our defense is really, really unusual. After modifications, it's 20 versus 474. So a result of the attack is a miss. So in that case, it missed the crusader, and it was then counterattacked by the crusader. So the crusader then attacked back. So it's got an attack of 83. Again, you can see there we actually need to be using the. I should have used the howitzer guns on these tanks, not the high velocity. The high velocity is not going to do well against these particular arachnids, and their defense is higher. So this is why it's a lot of missing going on. We're just not able to sort of break through with these high velocity guns. So just this is where against these sort of arachnids, the armored cars should do better because they'll have a higher attack score. There's also other things that do go on, like we also have attack score modifications back in through here again as well. So for us, when we're attacking, we work counterattacks. We have 50%. The landscape minus 60%. Readiness a bit lower. Experience concentric attacks, so we get a plus 40% there because we're attacking from different angles. The skill operational command. This is the leadership is aiding a little bit. So after modifications, we do 22.7 potential attack score. There should also be that there's a distance factor as well. because we're closing the gap. It may because we're tanks, it may not figure in the score of things. But if we were attacking with infantry, there certainly is like a gap between what actually does go on. So anyway, this is, again, with the arachnids, they've got a readiness there. Their readiness was a bit lower, but still pretty high. Experience was up, and the weapon matrix modification, their weapons are not considered good against tanks, so they're good against infantry, so they have a negative in through there. So they've got a less going on. Now, in one of these, it looked like it was in round one. One of these actually was, so the arachnid counterattacked by Crusader, it then got pinned. So in this case, it was a miss, but it did pin the, so it got a hit, but pinned it down. Didn't actually get the kill. Counterattacks, miss. If I look at all the counterattacks, one of these is a kill. So we were attacked by a lot of these different groups. Counterattacks the Crusader there, miss. Yes, attacks the Crusader at the end there. And that's a miss as well. If we go back to this top one, counterattacks is a miss. Oh, there we go. There's the kill there. So this, in this case, this is just a really, really lucky hit from the arachnid. So there's an attack there of 28 versus a defense of 428. After modifications, the attack score was 8 versus the defense of 474. Result is pinned, hazard exposure roll. So it's like it scratched, it broke through the armor. So it got a hit, even though the attack score was just minuscule. So this is a really, really unlucky hit. But then, so it broke through the armor. There was actually a hazard exposure roll then given, and this is actually where we suffered pressure loss, and because the planet is so insidious. We don't see this unless you just go into this one through here. So there's we suffered a pressure loss in the actual cabin, and then we got exposed to the sulfur dioxide environment, and we then tried to a 35% chance to avoid death, which we failed, and so the crew of essentially the crews of the tanks were destroyed in that particular one. So it's a result of the attack as a kill. So they actually ended up killing off that particular force. Extremely unlucky for that to happen. When you look at these numbers, these are not big numbers coming back the other way. So it's just an extremely lucky hit with what they ended up having there. So it really shouldn't have happened. So anyway, we'll just keep on going back. Seb was saying, the reason I usually add sacrificial national tanks to my GR tanks to mitigate. Yeah, okay, yep. So getting like cheap tanks in with the big ones. We haven't got the big ones yet, the big tanks. So we'll just go back out. But in this case, unfortunately, and this is where there was a hit that was done against this tank. We've got a kill there. The one kill that we got was that tank there. The little white numbers means how many times they actually did get an actual hit on the different forces. And you can see down through there was one hit coming back the other way and one kill. So this one here managed to get the kill there against that particular tank right from the very, very start in round one. So again, round one happened, then round two. If you see the exclamation mark, it means that the tanks have now broken through and are running rampant. But in this case, it's not really going to do anything. They're and again, the arachnids are just staying in the fight all the way through until the very, very end. And so if we go back out and click on OK, those tanks can hardly move now because they've used up all of their abilities. We've got I can't get replacement tanks at this point in time, so that was not a great result for us ultimately in the end. So I'll leave that one where that is. Nothing else we can really do this turn. So we need to just wait for the buildings to be built. If we go back into Dasburg, have a look at the assets. So we are still building the solar panels. Solar panels are still going backwards. It's really the industrial points now is the bad one for us. We do have hydroponics. I won't try to build those just yet. One turn left on that one turn left on this one. This is going to give me a big, big boost. It's also going to give you, I may not have enough. I'm going to have to really look at the energy for what we end up having in here. All right, let's send our turn and see what the arachnids do. But it looks like they're being pressured from the south. Now, what's under there? A derelict device. Research bonus points of +80. That would be nice to have. All right, so we're not going to be able to expand much if this major is back down this way as well. Send our turn and see what these arachnids get up to. I don't like that they're building up like this. If they decide to go after us, we are screwed. Good, they've left that little area, that little incursion. Didn't work out for them. Okay, so we've got another... Keep on bringing in the CEOs to look after specific assets, so we end up with sort of getting these different guys, which will then just help give us bonuses. Research complete on the university. Civilization has reached level 5. That's okay. And we're expanding, which is good. So we've now built the bits and pieces. We're now at solar panels 3. We're still going backwards a little bit because of the bureaucratic offices. Now also will be coming back up. In fact, these have just... Actually, no, I've still got one more turn on those. So we'll just wait for those to come back in. So we didn't quite get those built. Industrial points are now coming back up. So we'll now just need to go back and get replacements for all of these different things. They're moving back away. Now, they've actually lost... The other group has now lost that one there. See how there's a group of arachnids down this way? So we can see what we're up against in here. We've got 39 recon. I'm going to keep the infantry back. Right, so this one's now giving me recon of 87 here by bringing this group forward. There's another group of a different group of these are Defendrixes. So these are actually there's 500 of these. So Defendrix have got like a much more that what they can do through here. Their hard attack, hard defense is a big problem. And these are much higher level. So these are the next level up. And there's a third level as well, which they actually have. I'm going to start to ramp these up. We're now at 100% there. They're just normal. Let's go and... We just need to try to make sure that we can get the supplies coming back into these different tanks and things. Let's just go back into the replacement troops back in the OHQ. So we need to get the motorised transports. Won't worry about them just yet. They're not critical. Crossbillies, I think, really are. So we get 2 of those. We'll produce those immediately. I want to have some spares as well, ultimately. Where's our light armour? Just need one of these. Yeah, we can get one of those. All right, and we can probably now afford to get the... what else do we need? We've got 2 machine guns just waiting back there. Are they the old ones? Yeah, Whirlwind 2s, that's okay. That's one group of buses. That's all we need. Is that all we need? Just produce those. I think I needed more than that. Yeah, we still need more for those for getting these other group done. Yep. So we need to get those across. Bring this one back in just to support the town. I can move this one into here just to push the border back a little bit with those arachnids. Might just keep on doing this. This is all rocky plains. Yeah, let's just push forward here a little bit while we can. That was a nice one, nice anchor point. But the fact that we now actually have tanks is a good one. Let's move them down. So they've now, the arachnids have been blocked off through here. Just push this border back. And we might as well follow up now on these borders as well. This is another group of arachnids. This is the queen. All right, so the queen is immobile, but really monstrous, huge animal. So it's got 1,000 points. Doesn't defend all that well, but it will be protected. So we've got the queen is something we could definitely go after. Just try to block this one in. Bring these down as well. These militia here, I will bring them down as well. Bring these into, just to sort of put pressure on this particular group. Now we want to make sure that we've got good supply coming into this force, like so that the replacements can actually reach these, which should be okay. We're down to 50 there. I won't worry about building any roads at this stage. Let's move down towards so we can actually put a bit more pressure on the queen. So they're defending the queen from the south. So there is actually this major group that's actually sort of operating down this way. It would be nice to get hold of this. I can do that because the crossbillies have got such good defense. I think I'll take that. We're just seeing normal arachnids all over the place. So there's two different groups there, just normal arachnids and defendrixes there. I'm not seeing the, there is actually like another group of bugs which is stronger again. Let's move down. Now the whirlwinds should be able to defend against these basic units. Let's just move it in. Just keep on pushing forward. Now we're getting to the end of our what we can do with our logistics. Down on this side, we probably do need to start to build a road, but I really only have 50 industrial points, so it's not really enough. I probably need to build a road out this way, I think. All right, so we're certainly extending our borders out. These are right on the very, very limits, but we're not, like, we've still got food. We're still in the red zone there, so we can still get supplies coming back in. I don't think that they'll be attacking. I mean, these defendrixes, they are more for defense. The fact that we've found the queen is a good sign. All right, 2 decisions to make. Supreme Command Council task priorities. I'm just going to no changes there. She's useless. Economic Council research objective. So I can still now go back. I'll go for VidCom, and then I'll go for nothing after that. And that way I can still build things up if I need to. Food is going backwards. Water is going up, but I've got up to 3,000 maximum storage there. Money is also still not great. Let's just go back into trade. What's this rare earth? The rare earths are sort of just moving around in that location. I'll take all of the rare earths that we have. Let's go and sell them half. So maybe 200-ish. For 600 credits. Fuel is now also becoming more valuable. We are chomping through the fuel a little bit with what we're doing.
Yes, sir.
How much can we store of fuel? 3,700. I will eventually be able to get better storage, in which case, these fuel areas become more viable. If we can get into those mountains, that would be nice in terms of supply. Not seeing the arachnids in here at all. Anyway, let's continue on. We've got I'm really quite happy with the force that we actually now have for taking on these arachnids. Now they will swing back to the front, I think, to protect the queen. We won't get the queen easily. We will have to surround the queen. There they come. They're massing. It's pretty cool, isn't it, what they've done with the arachnids? Here comes the other group of arachnids. 7 decisions this time. We better do them before we start doing anything else. Okay, so we've got a social standing feat for 500 credits. So this is Mindy. We discovered a new tech, ammo compaction. We have a clever idea of how we could high pressure fabrication to reduce the size of ammunitions. Requires rifles and guns to be adapted during though. Air Force does not benefit from compaction, but it is really all about weight for aircraft design. Okay, that's okay. Discover a new model, the motorbike infantry. So back in through there. Probably don't need that one at this stage. See 4 new political stratagems. The motorbike infantry is a little bit reconish as well. Hi Private Joe, how are you going? That's all okay back in through there again as well. Zoo project. So the Zoo project should then give me better abilities back at Dasburg. So we've got a unit with low supply. This is the one that we put into that red zone, I'm sure. If we have a quick look down there, we should sort of see actually all of these. So the arachnids have actually pushed up and have actually now blocked us off. So we no longer have supply. We're in the red zone back through here. Now these guys, I might just talk a little bit about supply. You can see the 0 supply getting through. What actually happens with this is that the recon buggies have actually got extra supply. When they get built, they actually have, if you can see down through here, their food, they only use 2 food, this is their food consumption, 2, and they're carrying 10. These guys have run out of food completely. They have a food consumption there of 10, and they require 10 food. They can carry 20. They moved out to here, and they've been now completely blocked off by the food. So their food situation is now a bit diabolical. I'm going to move this one back up to then be able to just get back into supply. So the little green areas, if we have a quick look at this one, all of these are now in the black. The red is now extended back down into here. These arachnids are now moving down. I think I'll just keep this front line where that is. But in this case, if this one stays where it is, it's then going to start to take damage because of the lack of food. So it needs, if it gets into red, it will actually pick up food. So it just has to go to there to be able to pick up food again. But I am concerned that we now have a gap running through, so I do want to plug that gap anyway. I could move it to there, but I think I'll move it back to there. Now, we don't get the benefit this turn. Next turn we will. This one is also completely run out of food. I will move this one into that position. See how they're coming back in around the Queen? This group in through here doesn't have the same issue because it's both fuel and food. It can stay out for 5 turns, basically, for about say 4 turns safely. So it can. These are like long range, like the long range desert group. If you're sort of aware of the World War II, sort of fighting force, these can range deep in outside of supply range to do scouting, which is pretty cool. So I'm just going to move. I think I might move that one up because it's not going to impact what it does. This one here is actually fairly weak. There's only one of them, and we have 97 recon there. Might be time for our aircraft again, but I'm thinking we actually end up trying to kill this one off. These have now got all of their troops back in. They're running at 90% efficiency. So I can even move that one down and actually help with the attack. So now it's 66 action points to move to there. It's only 52 action points. So I'll get 1 extra action point in that one there. We haven't really used our armoured cars much for the fights. If we go into this one through here, you can see the attacks are 3.9 to 1. It should still be fine. But we saw just how difficult they can be. Now these, we need to keep on sort of moving this one forward, moving these down to more put pressure on the groups. Now we're in rocky plains there, then there's sand out through here. So I want to stay out of the sand with those guys. I'm going to move this one down to put pressure on the Queen. This one I'm just going to keep this little group of arachnids. This one I can come back in and attack the Queen. But I think I'll, I'm not sure. I think I'll actually I'll keep this one sort of thumping along. If I go and attack the queen, it's the odds are not in our favour. Even if I bring the others in, it's still, we get a little bit in our favour there, but not much. So I'll just go cancel. In this case, I can bring this tank down into this side, and again, the queen will ultimately be the main prize here. But if I can round up these bugs now and do the damage, I think what I'll do is I will actually attack this one with this armoured car and just see what actually happens. Yeah, we're getting, there we go. So that was, you saw there the kill factor. If we go back into the detail and have a quick look, it only lasted 2 rounds, so we should have a little bit more that we can then go and do with things. The first round we were closing the gap, so at the start of the round the crossbilly attacks the arachnid. So we have an attack there of 300 versus a defense of 266. So we're doing better than the tanks because of the Gauze machine guns that they've got. So these actually do better against these sorts of arachnids. After modifications, the attack score is 82 versus 404. So they do end up with a big attack score through there. They did then counterattack, and they have, again, like 17 versus 250. So really, it's going to be hard for them. It's going to be, they'd have to be lucky to get a shot in. It may still happen, but in round 2, we ended up getting so each one of these, that one just attacks, and they then break through, which then gives us more abilities for the next round after this one. Pinned, kill there. So this one here attacks the arachnid, 300 versus that one. By the time we end up going, we've got the attack startup is -25, landscape is -60, experience plus 10 gives us 100, and then they're defending at 230. We just happen to roll the dice. The dice rolled well in our favour. We do sort of break through there. These other ones here, we like, you know, basically they're sort of just everything sort of attacking these different bugs. So that was a good result, which is what we sort of would expect against something small like that. Just go and click on OK. And so what I can do now is I can literally just surround this. So I can move this one here can still actually go and do an attack there if we needed to. But I think what I'll do is I might just keep all this going now. This is more Defendrixes back down this other side. Let's just keep them where they are. Now we also then have these. I'm going to move that one across and this one down, just to get ready for the future attacks. In terms of the aircraft, so I've still got the aircraft in here, where I can still, and these are running at 100%, so I could start to strafe this one or even the Queen. The damage that's done in one round won't stay there for the next round unless you get kills. What will go down is the readiness. So at the moment they're at readiness 66 with very high recon. This one here is very high recon and only 51. So we could, now the other thing we can actually look at here is this one here still can't move. Let's just go back to replacement troops and just get the other 3 green buses now. So I'll just go and produce those. So they will now be given back to that one. We could soften things up using the artillery, but we're not going to get there in time. We've got 300 industrial points. This is now the important factor that we're sort of now looking at. Our oil is also running out. If we don't move, we won't use the oil all that much, but we do need to now start to look at getting another oil derrick somewhere. And I'm thinking we either upgrade this one. We have a look. We've got 16,000 there. This one here's got 75,000. This is a good one. If we build there, we have to build a road to it, which is not a problem. I might even build a road from Dasburg down to it, rather than just coming across here. It's still the same. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, as opposed to 1, 2, 3. It is quicker to build there. Maybe we still build there. You don't want to have too many roads branching off all over the place, but we also have to build a road out this way as well. To the supply with these guys with the black dots are going to be should be okay after the next round. The toaster appliance thing that we saw there, I would like to keep hold of that. I don't know if the arachnids, I think they're going to be staying around the Queen. Let's do a strafing attack on, well, we'll do the strafing attack on this one here. So that's X. If I press X, I then got the, that's the same as doing air attack. And so we'll just go in again. There's no return fire. There's 4 of them, not 3. Now that made them all run. They've sort of panicked, and so they've actually now all been essentially running, but there's no actual attack going into their territory. So they now should be very, very, like their readiness should be way, way down. 48, 24, 48, and 48. So, and if we go and click on OK, our recon now is almost full, at like very, very close. If we go back to the movement again, I can attack at 12 to 1 odds, but only very, very minimally. We only got like very limited times in through there. If I do that one, 9 to 1, 30 to 1 with that other one, 38 to 1 if I go in with both cross billies. Let's do that. Try to finish them off. Yeah, there we go. And it only took 1 round because they were so disoriented after that attack from the from the aircraft. So the aircraft, by having that little arrow appear underneath them, just meant that they were sort of out of, like they weren't dug in at all, and so it made it easier for us to then move in with the with these guys. Only took them 1 round, I would guess. Oh no, 3 combat rounds to sort of then get the kills, to get all the kills, but it happened pretty fast. So we'll just go and click on OK there. So that is now done. We'll just move this one down. We can move that one into the area that we attacked, and we can move this one down into this zone here now as well. Now, in terms of, we've still got 300. I'm going to build a road coming down this way. So let's go and press the R key, dirt road, 20 IP per hex, but there is a cost. That's going to cost me 40, 80, 104, 128. Let's do that to there. Oops, I need to right click. You have to start on the road and then right click. And so just press escape and M just to get out of road building. And so next turn, the supplies will now come back down to there. I don't need the supplies going into here that much. I need them coming down this way. So I'm going to go and press the traffic signs. This is actually how you then manage what goes on with your logistics. Otherwise, it will just split between them. I'll end up with 700 going into each one of these 2 locations. With traffic signs, I can go through here. By default, if you're ever doing this, always unclick pull points. Pull points are, like, things will draw stuff back in through the road if it can get it. In this case, pull points, I always want pull points to go through, but I want to reduce the truck and rail logistics. And I'm going to block this off completely. But what will happen is, excuse me, the troops that are, if I just go back out, we've now got a block there, but these troops are drawing their supplies from that location, and so that will still go through. They pull the supply from that location, so they'll still be pulling it from in there. But that means that most of the supply will end up going down along this road to these troops that need it. Oil is the only real issue that we have at this point in time. I can't really build anything until I build up my my industry. So I think we're okay there at this point in time. Keep them all just where they are. There is a hill there, which would be a nice one for us to move into. Just keep them sort of coming along. If I go into the mountains, it is going to be hard to get supply. I'll keep this one back in here. In fact, it would be nice to get them into the hills, just to get better entrenchment if we need it. Yeah, I need to have it so that there's not too much of a gap between anything. So we've got more arachnids down in here. Okay, nothing much else for us to do here. We just contain all of this, and we'll now focus on the Queen. I think in the coming attacks, see if we can kill them off. 7 decisions. I should do this at the start. Normally, when you have a look at the top, national decisions, organisational decisions, and diplomacy decisions. Now this is coming from Bulgaria, who's this is one that we've quite. We're trying to be friendly with them as much as we possibly can. Now, unfortunately, they're pro-autocracy. And so they're asking us, so an envoy from Begavi has explained to us that there is a group of traders present in both ours and their nation that is decreasing their populace enthusiasm for war by selling a wide variety of pleasure and entertainment products. They would like us to crack down on these traders altogether. Will we participate in their crackdown? Now you can see there, our guys hate that because we're a meritocracy and we don't believe in autocracy. This is a very pro-autocratic decision. So we're not going to be wanting to do that one. If we refuse, the only one that isn't going to like it happens to be Laura Cryman. She's in charge, I think, of the 1st Machine Gun Group. So she actually is autocratic. If we go and click on her profile, she will be pro-autocracy back in there. So she is for that decision. Everyone else is against it. In fact, like -25. Here's Cause Lord Crederock is pro-meritocracy, negative, very negative autocracy back into here. So she is all about meritocracy, which is what we are. So these are going to then impact their relations with us quite dramatically. This one not so much. This is William Cryopath, who is still pro-meritocracy. So just the autocratic profile, if I have a look at the actual profiles, we'll sort of see at the moment, we've got democracy is actually the main one. Meritocracy has fallen behind, and autocracy is there. I need to try to get meritocracy back up into this position. And so it's not going to help me with this one through here, but I need to be aware of that. So I'm going to go and do, because most of our guys are pro-meritocracy, that's how we started. So I'm going to refuse, but what this is going to do is it's going to give me a relationship decrease, which is then going to put pressure on the relationship that we have with them. So I'm going to refuse that, and they're going to be disappointed. So how much do they go down by? It's not really telling us, but it's what our guys want. Militia learns from the experience. If we just go back into here, we now see that the autocracy has gone down, but the other two haven't changed. So that's okay. Militia learns from experience. Now, I don't want to be spending money, so I'm just going to go yes, but not do any more than that.
Order received.
And I want to try to get pro-meritocracy. It's sort of hard pushing these things up. See, if we support the workers, democracy goes up even more. So we've got a workers in Dasburg got said about my crony CEO. This is from Boland, the director of the Foreign Affairs Council. The workers are calling me corrupt and want me to remove my CEO, to force the workers to stop protesting. In this case here, only one person is behind that one. Promise to investigate the CEO in due time. It costs political points. We've got heaps of them. The workers won't be happy about that one, though. So support the workers. In this case, democracy goes up, and I can't afford to do that. So get rid of the leader's CEO. Virtus increase, happiness increase. Now, I don't know which CEO this one is. I think that's the one. Heart goes up.
Copy that.
Just go and do that one there. Right. So the CEOs will tend to provide bonuses to different assets. So the CEOs are in charge of assets. Okay, then we've got org decisions back into here, Military Research Council tasks. I don't need to do anything there, no changes with that arrangement. Model Design Council, Motorbike Infantry, no new orders. We'll just keep it trying to discover new stuff. Okay, we've now got 84 custom points, so we can start to go in and we can customize different groups. I'm still not ready to do that yet. I probably will actually wait until I've got a fair few to be able to then go and customize the light, like the light tank brigade and battalion. So I'll just wait until we can actually go and do that before we do anything. So let's just postpone that decision for now. So we'll do that probably in the next episode. National budget allocations, back into there again. I'll just keep them all thumping along where they are. Yeah, that'll be okay. I'll just go no changes. I mean, I could have micromanaged that just to sort of see which ones are happy enough for us, to be able to take a cut in their budgets. But the budgets will now be going up. Their bureaucratic points will be going sky high. This will be going up next turn from 400 to 800-ish. Energy is still going down, which is a bit of a problem. Let's just go back up to the town and have a look at the assets. Yeah, construction is just finished on both of these. So we'll get the boost with the solar panels, and we'll get the and we'll also get the boost to the bureaucratic offices in through here as well in the next turn, or probably even the turn after. So there's always a bit of a lag with stuff in the game, like it sort of delays by about a turn, with often, and which can be off-putting when you're trying to plan things. Let's now that we've actually wiped out those bugs, let's just keep it rolling through here. So the queen is she's not all that. She defends well against tanks. Yeah, we'll have to surround her and then sort of really smash her with. Well, if we can get the artillery down, that would be good. If we can bring this by the time that the trucks get there, that should be fine. Now we don't actually have the industrial points. I do want to get this here. What I might do is I might throw another road down this way. We're going to need it anyway. I'll split this road off. So we'll just go back into road building again. Dirt road. Now that's going to cost me 72 to get to that location. So I'll throw that one in there, but I can't start building there, I don't think. Well, maybe I could. Maybe I could at least sort of start the process. Let's just go back to movement again. And again, I want to go back to and do this traffic signs, which is Z, I think. No, T for traffic signs. So I'll get the traffic signs. And I'm just going to, again, allow pull points through, but then block everything else off that way. So only the stuff that's required down that way will get it. Because I want to just make sure all of the supply comes along this road. So next turn, that will then have different things. So let's just go back into construction. Let's go back to movement as well. But construction down through here, construct. Mining, in this case, we can build an oil drilling facility. It's going to take 2 rounds. We have still got the machines. We will pick up here. Let's just go and start the construction there. Actually, one thing I've got to be looking at is how's this thing going? Yeah, we're going at 100% capacity there. So we'll need the second one, or to upgrade that one there, but that'll be okay. All right, so we're still building up and getting things going. This is good with the arachnids. We're sort of doing well on that front. I might just take that back from the mutants. Just I didn't like that little incursion that they did into that mountain. Just keep on pushing that back along. I could move this one down into this area, but at the moment we've sort of got the mutants can't really break through there all that easily. And I no longer really need much going out this side as well. What I might do is put another traffic sign in through here. And so I'm just going to go in and allow the pull points to go through again. God, I wish that was by default was turned off. And I'll allow 90%, so there's just a little bit extra going out along that road there. So just go back. So we should end up now with most of the, like a big numbers of suppliers coming down into this point here. So let's end our turn and see this take place. We have to now be careful of the energy, because we're now going to get this big boost to our bureaucratic points. Now they're unhappy. I should have checked to see what their happiness level was. We may need to get ourselves save up for another machine gun group just to hold that front if they become aggressive. Oh, see how these guys are attacking as well, attacking the bugs. Okay, I bought a crony CEO. So this is the secretary for 500s. Discovered metal in Dasburg at 3111. Pazonian territory has violated our borders and declared war on us. This is the other bugs. Admin has reached level 8. Got a whole heap of different stuff in through here. We've got some fate stratagems. That's all okay. I haven't really given my guys much to go on. So you can see down through here, just a small amount coming back along this way. Energy is going way down now because of what we've built. We've got heaps of stuff now coming back through here. These guys all got their food. This is Pazonian territory all the way along here. This is now the next group of arachnids have now declared war. We're in here, and we need to now sort of defend this line because they'll try to get up and cause issues here. I think I can still keep most of what we need going on with the Queen, with the force that we actually have out this other side. Let's just press M for movement. There's only one of them in here. If we go and attack that one, it's not good odds because there are so much... Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Damn it.
Mission successful.
Yeah, we lost one there. I accidentally pressed the attack. I didn't mean to do it. Anyway, I'll take it. We've pushed that one back a little bit. We keep that one where that is. We need to keep defending this line here. I'm going to go and push this one back onto that hill, just to stop these guys from getting through, and I'll need to get these also just to help out. Okay, well that was not great. I've got two decisions, so we can bring a new organisation in, which I would like to bring the Secret Service. I think I might do that now actually. Let's go and bring that one in so we can start getting spies out and about. Minor worker strike in Dasburg. We've either got autocracy or democracy. I don't want democracy, but I sort of have to. The unrest goes up if I ignore it. I think I actually have to do it. Ignore the protests. Now this is Poland. The Foreign Affairs Council is actually fairly negative. I'm going to ignore the protests because I can't afford to have democracy go too high. I can surround the Queen now. This thing's trying to break out, so I'm going to have to protect against that. So with this Queen surrounded, yeah, just going to make sure I keep on cancelling those orders. So everything is now around behind the Queen. They shouldn't be able to really break through. Unfortunately, this one here is taking that damage. I didn't mean to do that, but I guess it does move it away from the Queen. This one now can be brought down to sort of help out. So I'll bring these down, but again, the fuel is... We're running out of fuel. We'll have enough to keep the attacks going for a little bit longer, but we will run out. Industry is going up. The big problem here is the energy. Now, if we run out of energy, what that means is everything will just slow down a little bit. It's not super debilitating. Actually, our food supply has now gone down. We need to get this one up. I'll take that up to 100% production, which will then use up even more energy. Hydroponic vats, we haven't actually got those anywhere either. If we go back to Dasburg, just look at what we can construct in here. Your hydroponic food factory in through here will use up a lot of energy. Yeah, it's a bit too much. Now this next one, 5 rounds. I can't afford it. Give me another 400. It would be very, very good to get that one. Industry would also be great to get another big boost there. Not going to worry about those just yet. And then logistics. These different depots would be handy to have, just so we've got more storage. But it's not critical yet. I'll just exit out of that. So we'll just keep on doing what we can do. We are going to have to save up again with our industry points just to sort of get more military. So we'll probably just sit back a little bit while we finish off the arachnids. I am concerned. What are these guys now like? They've dropped a little bit with the last one, but they're still friendly. But I just don't like this build-up. I really really should have another group in here. We're quite exposed out here, which is not good. We're just going to, we've got a small line to hold there. We've opened ourselves right up here if these guys do become aggressive. One thing we can do is have a bit of a look at the cards that we have. The strat cards, we've got the majors. We do have things like scientific cooperation, exchanges. Yeah, this one will, I don't know if it'll help. The non-aggression pact. If we go to Bergovia, if we go to the target here of Bergovia back over through here, so they are friendly with us. Not a valid, you need an embassy in the target regime. So if we have a quick look back at the stratagems, do we have an embassy? Friendship pact. Can we do that one? Yeah, you need to have a non-aggression pact first before we do that one. Oh, there we go, embassy. So this one here, difficulty is 94, but the diplomacy skill roll here, so Boland is actually good at this, but he is unhappy at the moment. So diplomacy skill roll is die 100 plus 89, so pretty much just short of getting this one. Let's go and pop that one in there.
Copy that.
So success, they accepted the exchange of ambassadors. Wow, we only rolled 100. So we rolled, what did he roll? Skill level, it was 25. Yep, so regime, bonus of 30. And he rolled 11 on the die 100 roll. So only just made it, but that's okay, that's fine. So Boland, you've done well. So that's actually, that gives me a little bit of a boost. And so we can now do things, not this turn, but if we go back to page 1, non-aggression pact, and so we've already executed a stratagem on this target. So we can try to do that one to just secure the borders, just so that they don't feel that it's going to be a problem. That's gone up to 83 now that we've got the embassy. So we need to try to keep them on side. We just can't afford to piss them off, to be honest. We just don't have the capacity to fight against them if they decide to attack. Now, in terms of trade, we are fine with money. Actually, our money has come up, so we are actually earning. We've sold something off. I'm not sure what that would be, but something we've actually got more there than what we needed. I'm thinking it would possibly be how that one worked. If we go back into that's trade workshop, we don't need. Everything is going well there. The raised formation we don't need at this stage. Construction we don't need. What was I going to do? There was something else I was going to have a look at. I am concerned about the energy, but we should now, with all the bureaucratic points that we have, we should be thumping through the research. So we have to try to get ahead of everyone else in research just to get better equipment. This one should stop this one from really getting through anywhere, so I'm sort of happy enough with that one. Actually, I was going to look at the replacement troops. Let's make sure we don't have any shortfall. Buggy, there it is. I'm going to get, can only get one of them. All right, that's all we had left. So I couldn't get any more than that. I might just get a few, like it's always handy to have a few extras of troopers and things like this, just so it can actually, like in between the turns. Like I like to have about 10 troopers and maybe sort of like 5 or 6 machine gunners. And also like a couple of extra tanks and a couple of extra armoured cars, just to replace at the end of fights. Otherwise we have to wait, you have to sort of almost wait like a full turn. That should get through to that location, unless they attack back. Let's end our turn here. Here we go, got another group coming in, that may be the other major. They're moving back away, which is good. And we'll try to get the non-aggression pact now with them. Those mutants are actually attacking the arachnids as well, which is interesting. The arachnids are quite interesting. So we found the heavy machine gun infantry army. This allows us to get even more defense, which is actually, again, probably a good thing for us. The machine guns really are there for defense. Threaten leader. Got all sorts of different stuff in through here. Send a spy team. So we've now got 3 spies. We'll start to use these now more effectively. So now that we're going to have like a new council. So we've got 5 decisions to make. So let's just quickly go back through here. I'll make this the last turn. I do have to get going. So workers protest against their CEO. So workers in Dasberg about my crony CEO. This is from Liz, the secretary. She only just employed this one. Get rid of it. Get rid of it.
Order received.
Easy. That one's done. New director of the Secret Service Council. Now, what will happen here is anyone that, even if they've got like an existing, like Boland, for example, is currently in charge of foreign affairs, but he's thinking, I'm better at doing this. When you're playing as a meritocracy, which is what we're playing as, the people will come through and think, okay, look, I'm suitable for this. We also have a reserve pool member with a rating there of 0, but Boland's rating there is 60. And so if you have a look and see why that's the case, if we have a bit of a look at this one, he's got covert ops skills there of 39. Now, when we have a look at everything else, that's actually pretty damn good. He does have diplomacy there of 25, but this is very, very high. If we go back out now and just press escape and have a look at the management screen for the leaders, we can then go through to the, like we saw there, that one is in the command skills. So if we go to command skills and go to covert ops, I can then see, all of the different people that we have. We've got 2 pages of people. The people on this page don't have anything, but the people on this page, like he is by far the best at this particular role. So I can switch him out of Foreign Affairs Council, and what we can do is we can then go to the interpersonal skills and go to diplomacy to see who would be a good follow-up. And so he is still the best at foreign affairs, but covert ops is going to be much more suitable for him. We don't really have anyone great at diplomacy. Yeah, no, there's nothing really fantastic there. Boland's saying, learnt the hard way, striving for 100% movement on light tanks is not really necessary. So Boland's saying 39, but very low war attribute, but still got cap 3. So that really won't be a problem. So covert ops, I think you are definitely the person for that one. The others really like tier 1, not suitable. This is more important than foreign affairs, I think. It wasn't. We needed to get friendly with that other group, but we've sort of done that. What we could do is actually try to play the card as your last thing as you leave the office, and then switch you over. So let's just go back to the map. So we'll come back and play these in just a minute. So if we go back and have a look again at the strat cards that we have. So what I want to do here is I want to go for the majors, I want to have the non-aggression pact with Bulgaria. You can see how much bigger they are than what we are. We're tiny in comparison. So if we go back across to the stratagems, so if we go to non-aggression pact, what do we need here? Regime does not have a faction in power that supports. Okay, so we can't do that one, unfortunately. So that's because they're militaristic. So they're not going to. This is not part of what they will then go and do. So every faction has got every major faction has got its own factions within its own government, and that government will then dictate their policies, and their policy is militaristic in this case. And if we have a look at who they actually are, if we just go back out from the strat cards and go across to it and have a bit of a look at it, we can get some information here. So the 3 factions that they have, the Federalist Shield Command, and we don't know much about it, but this is a pro-autocracy group of federalists that are actually in charge of the government, and they take 100% of the government. It's an autocracy. So the Soldier Sect and the Mercs Front are 2 other factions where this one's pro-mind, this one's pro-fist, and this one is pro-heart, along with autocracy. So they're never ever going to be wanting to have that sort of thing through there. So if you're saying, do you ever scrap useless cards? Yes, sometimes you get pretty good cards from scrapping. Yes, I do. I'm running out of time, so that's why I sort of haven't done it today, but I was looking at how many we had that weren't really going to do us any good. But I'll do that probably next time, I think. Just this, a lot that goes on in this game, unfortunately, and so it's I saw it there before and thought I should scrap, but then I thought I really don't have a lot of time, so I won't just yet. These guys are starting to push up into this hill, so I'm just going to move this one over into the hill. We're going to have to plug that gap. I'm just going to move this one down here, keep them along this line. Yeah, so the bugs are all over us. We'll just try to finish off the queen, and then I'm going to have to get going. They haven't moved. It's interesting that these are attacking down through into the arachnid territory. And then this is the other group as well. This is the... these are not all that friendly. Culture unknown. We don't know who these guys actually are. They're the ones that had come up here before. So they must be attacking the bugs as well. Let's finish off the queen. So we've got what we want to be doing here is we do. Did I take that one across? I did take that one across. I've got in here mechanized artillery, and so what I can do is I can actually go and I can move in and start to do an artillery attack. And I'm looking down at the bottom here with how many action points. So it's 40 action points to move there or there. I've got 254 there. I don't know if the road will, if I press and build the road now, from there to there, it's going to cost me 64. Let's go and do that. Just press escape, or M. If I now move from there to there, it's only 20 action points. So it's given me more action points for the attack. So by building that road, it's given me a little bit extra to be able to soften up the queen with artillery. Now, with the queen, when we have a look into what she is, she's at now at 85% readiness, and that we can sort of tell. Our recon there is 170. Let's just go back and do a strafing run with the with this again. Let's have a look at what the queen can then go and do. Very high recon. Yeah, this will be okay. So yeah, as long as the arachnid territory has a queen, it will have a much higher rate of spawning new units. So it won't get rid of them, but it will get rid of their main growth aspect. So it's immobile. So this is now going sort of like now this is now Starship Troopers-esque, where we move in to destroy the queen. We'll make this the last thing we do today. So we'll take the aircraft and we'll do a strafing run on that. So I just press X, which is the attack. Again, just to make doubly sure, air attack, not air recon. Y is air recon, I think. Yep, X is the air attack. So we'll do this attack. Now there's no firing coming back from the queen. What we want to do here is upset the queen. We want to get some shots in on it. We're not. We're getting recon, but we're not getting any shots on it. So we retreat back out of there. We're out of action points. Its readiness has now gone up, unfortunately. So, but we do actually have now more recon. Let's go and look at the detail through here. It's called a grasshopper, that particular one. Grasshopper attacks. Sorry, no, grasshopper is our units. Just attacks the unknown enemy basically all the way through. If we go back to round 10. When they retreat, attacks the queen. We're sort of now aware of it. So at the start, it's just a blob. Blob there, blob. When do we sort of find it's a queen there? So that's when the recon is enough for us to start to identify things. If we have a look at the attack, this will then sort of show us the modification. So they've got like 1800. So the entrenchment is plus 50%. The experience is plus 20%. So they're entrenching incredibly highly here. The attack was like very low in comparison, so the chance of getting even a hit is quite hard against something that strong. So just go and click on OK. I'm now going to move this one down, and so just go and press M. And I'm now going to bombard. So this is, I can switch from a regular attack to a ranged attack. And so I can just do the ranged attack in here. Why can't we do that one? Select some ranged fire. Actually, there we go. So I just need this one to come back in. I also have another group that I could do a ranged attack with. And so in this case, there's nothing coming back the other way. It's just going to be their defense. So they've got a So we'll just do this ranged attack. This will then chew up a lot of the artillery that we have. A lot of the ammunition. And again, we want to upset the readiness and the entrenchment. We're not going to get any more recon. The higher the recon is before we do this, the better. We did get some hits on it. We got 6 hits on the actual queen itself. And so the queen is now down. The readiness is now dropped into 2. From 100 down to 2. The entrenchment is now down to 1. So the queen has been hit multiple times by the artillery. Didn't do enough to actually to damage it. But what it has done is actually made it much, much less effective for when we go in now with the troops. So the artillery has certainly softened that one right up. Look at the detail here, for example. So round 1, the loader. So they've got a loader with a techno mage as well. And so they're attacking the queen in this sort of instance. And you can see down through here, again, it's got defences. As we get down to round 8, which is why I needed as many rounds as possible to sort of get these attacks going in. If we have a look at this attack in through here, it's reducing because the readiness is dropping. So the readiness has dropped from, if you look at round 1, readiness, it says it's not that much actually, not that much, but it has dropped a little bit, which will make it a little bit easier for us to then go in. So you've got to save the queen, says Beam Slam. So yes. So grab 30 is in saying, you reckon that arachnid prized the turret off. There we go. Hi, Red Mercator. Just go back again. So they've now done their attack. The queen looks like she's now dropped with her readiness. When we have a look at this one now, the recon hasn't gone up at all. Her readiness is now 11, essentially, so that's dropped right off. Entrenchment is only 1. So she is now much, much more susceptible to being hit by these guys. So we've got at 1 point, even just with one attack, we've got a bit of a benefit in through here. Let's go on with both attacks. It's a 4-to-1. Send in all of the armoured cars as well. So we've got 8-to-1 odds now, just going in with all the mech forces. If I put an infantry in, it's going to go up to 30-to-1. Now, why is that 30-to-1? That doesn't seem right. We've got full concentric attack, so we're coming in from all angles. That's one thing. Well, by taking that one off there, it's only 75% concentric. Landscape modifier of offensive attacks. We are going into sand, and at the moment, that's actually, these don't fight all that well there, I believe. Again, if we just go and cancel that, have a quick look at these sand plains. So you can see down here, the attack modifier for motorized and for tanks is -60. So that's actually why these don't fight that well in the sand. They're much, much better fighting on the plains. So I didn't realize it was that high, actually. In the plains, we don't have any negatives. But fighting in the sand, like it's dug into the sand, these guys don't do as well. I didn't even realize it was that big a number. But that's what's happening. By going in with all of these, we still end up with that -60 all the way through because we're attacking into sand. So you can see down through there, the landscape modifier for attack phase of the troops having to attack into these sand plains for the Crusaders and for the crossbillies is -60. If I add this guy in, we no longer have that problem. So because the infantry can sort of march through the sand. So it's like sort of like the Fremen, I guess, in Dune. Coming through. We also end up with a plus 100% concentric attack modifier. So this is actually now helping the attack. Everything else is going well. In this case, all we've got is positives all the way through. The overall firepower we have coming in is 176,000. The modifier is nearly 400%. With that guy gone, the modifier percent is 19%. So that makes such a massive difference. I didn't realise it was going to be anywhere near that high. Having these machine gun infantry attacking as well. Let's do this attack and finish off the queen.
Weapons free.
Now it's retreated straight away and given up. So we didn't lose anything. That was great. That was a great attack. The SHQ also added some extra skills to the actual fight. So the queen has panicked and has now been destroyed essentially. Has rolled over and we've sort of blown it up. We had a few hits there with these machine gunners. The tanks, if you go to page 2, these guys didn't even get a hit in, but they've gone in with their marching band. So musical band inspires and consoles the troops it's embedded with. Every combat round to regain up to 15 lost morale points. So they're all happily marching into combat. It's all done, so that's all good. So the queen is now gone, and we can now just keep on probably sort of shuffling around. We want to kill this group off. That's on the rocks. These are still in the sand, so I now need to really start thinking in terms of what sorts of units we actually move in to bring things around. The energy is still really, really problematic. This is, I'm going to have to leave that one to just go up if it can. These are defenders, so we are going to need to have infantry come back down and help these others. It's sort of one of these things where if I go in, these are fairly simple, and they're on the rocks. So again, the tanks and things will actually do a good job in here. But I need to keep on pushing down now. I might just mask that with infantry, and then just keep on bringing these others down into the fight. The group that was in there looks like it's moved back. Just go and get more movement. I've got to be careful about what I do here. I think I'll just stay where I am there. That's on low mountains. It's a good position for it. They're not going to be moving up just yet. All right, well, let's just continue with this one. We'll just come back down. Just keep these arachnids at bay. And these do actually have some artillery, which we don't really need to worry too much about. This is all sand again, so the infantry is going to be helpful on these attacks. That one does have the crossbelly. I'll keep these sort of just helping out with this line. We can now meet up with this group. We're seeing just normal arachnids in through there. There's a bunch of them in this other side over here now. There's more metal there as well. I'll just keep these coming because we have to dislodge these from the sand ultimately. This one here has now run its course. I'll bring this one down as well just to keep going in with the troops. But the supply we have coming along this road is going to be enough to sort of keep everything going really quite strongly down there. All right, so we got rid of the Spider Queen. This is now, if we go into the mountains, we can certainly defend better in the mountains. What do we have under there? Low mountains are good there. If I move to there, I then at least have like a good defensive location. We're in low mountains there. There's a bit of a gap in there. There's a bit of a gap over here, but we've sort of got like some reserves. I'll just keep that where that is. And then we'll be wanting to get rid of this as well at some point. But I think we'll just keep on trying to... Well, actually, they've now surrounded this particular group from that territory. We're not seeing enough there. Yep, I'll just cancel that one again. We've got the negative 60 there with the attacking into the sand. All right, anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Pig Mac is saying Shadow Empire when the graphics in Dwarf Fortress feels too polished. Yes. They're both great games, though. God, they're good. Queen was indeed afraid, says Sev. Yes, no, it's good. Bolton's saying 12,000 points on one way, very bad readiness. Queen is still crazy. There we go. The infantry do the recon for the terrain. They don't do the recon, I don't think, but I think they just have a benefit in fighting in these sandy terrains. The tanks, I guess, just they sort of. They get bogged. I guess would be. I'm not sure exactly what the it wouldn't be the recon because the tanks move ahead of the rest of the army. I wish I could show that combat report. These guys here will actually have like a negative combat report for 2 rounds. Scan Engineer saying cheers for the stream. Been interesting. It's a fantastic game. This is just amazingly good. I can't recommend it highly enough. We've still got big problems over here with our energy, and in fact what we might do before we leave, I want to have one last little look at some of these things. For example, if we have a look at some of the assets, you can see down there, see how we're not getting quite the energy that we require. Needed 28, got 27. All of these will be down with the energy. Needed 20, got 19. That one got what it needed. But the energy, we are struggling, even though it's showing that we've got positive. We've got like residue that's come back in, but we actually are, we're right on the limits of what we can do. So I need to get my industry points back up again so I can build the next group, area of solar panels, which is the most efficient way for us to use energy on this planet. All right, so everything else now is looking pretty good. So I think I'll leave it here, guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back again tomorrow. Probably play Nightmare Frontier again, I think, tomorrow. So we'll that's sort of in my head. But actually, I forget. Well, I think Boland, you might have made the suggestion yesterday that I play Shadow Empire. It was after I'd left the channel that I saw somebody mentioned Shadow Empire, and I thought, oh shit, I should really play that. I haven't played it for a little while. So yeah, no, thanks for the suggestion. I think it was you, Boland, that did that one. Anyway, I'll catch you guys tomorrow if you're around. Thanks for watching. So Pigmac is saying, I so wanted to start playing and enjoying it, but I spent all my imagination in the 80s games. I know what you mean. This is a game, it's hard to get into just because there's so much in it. And I don't know, I always suggest that people just play a Siva World, which is like an Earth-like initially, just to get used to the game. Don't really go out of your way trying to get sentient aliens and stuff like that. At the end of the day, like, this has been fun, even just going up against the arachnids. But certainly play it on easy. Don't play it on even normal. It's a hard game anyway. But it is one of these games where, like, for me, I'm really enjoying this. Imagining the sulfur dioxide. We saw that with that tank that got sort of like its armor was damaged, and that was enough to kill the tank off because of the environment. It's just amazing. Like, the detail in this game is just phenomenal. I find it quite, even though the graphics don't look that great, the imagination that it sort of promotes with what it does is just super high. Yeah, Boland's saying Shadow Empire is a proper war game with some politics and economy and role play as well. I mean, Battle Mode sort of considers it, because we argue about this a lot, I consider it a war game first and foremost, but he actually considers it as much a role play game as like a civilization game as much a war game. It's certainly like one of the most complex games in those sorts of genres, but it's so rewarding to play. There's just so much that does go on. It's so different every time you play it as well. Yeah, actually, Curry Boglin saying, I love the replayability. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it, really. Every planet is completely different. I guess, I mean, it's still, like, you're still building up these same sort of troops, I guess, to a degree each time. So it's not as if it's a completely new game every time you play it, but just the parameters. Like when we first started and realised that we had arachnids, two groups of arachnids to the south of us, it was almost a start again at that stage, because it was going to be, I knew it was going to be so debilitating in terms of our expansion. But this is actually now, see, for example, we could even, like, there's some defensive locations down in here and down in here. We could even end up with another town back in around here somewhere and start to expand that way. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. So Cry 30 is in saying really good game, but really good time sync too. Just one more. Yeah, it is one of those. Yeah. So Pigman is saying, when you will play it again, I need to see it played more. I have all of the DLCs. I'm not playing with the Oceania DLC until they put navies in, which I know is going to be worked on. It's just not ready yet. I'll be playing. I do want to play at least once a week, at least. But I'm not sure when. I've got a lot of games coming up that I will be also focusing on. So I'm guessing it may be about a week before I get back to it, I would think. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you tomorrow if you're around.